All right, a little bit early start because we got this clown, Jacob Fry, that is live right now addressing what just happened. I will fill everybody in on the details.
I missed the first part of what you said.
Give me just a few minutes to catch everybody up. We want to hear what this loser has to say right now.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'll turn it over to the chief. The question is, what does someone do when a federal agent is pointing a gun at them, chief?
So, if I heard you correctly, the question is about when people call 911, what is the city's protocol in these situations? We've had a very dramatic increase in 911 calls related to this activity. We have a protocol in place that has been
I'm a little low
as the situation has been changing. And at this time, there is a designated supervisor that is on duty 20.
So if you're just tuning in, a protester in Minnesota tried to block ICE agents, attempted to run an ICE agent over. The ICE agent opened fire, shot and killed the domestic terrorist, is what Kristi Noem is labeling this person. And now Jacob Fry and Minnesota Democrats are crying about it.
24/7 that fields those calls. And we do everything that we can to ensure that they are appropriately prioritized, with the priority being placed upon the protection of life and safety of everyone in the community.
Correct. Insurrectionist, not a protester. So it was an insurrectionist that was trying to block ICE agents with her vehicle.
Can you tell us any more about the woman who was fatally shot? Was she there as a legal observer, protester, bystander? What do you know that you can share?
So the question was, what can I share about the deceased? There is nothing to indicate that this woman was the target of any law enforcement investigation or activity. This woman was in her car, and it appears then blocking the street because of the presence of federal law enforcement, which is obviously something that has been happening, not just in Minneapolis, but around the country. She appears to be a middle-aged white woman.
Crazy. How many times have we said it? Liberal white women are the cancer to society. Liberal white women are awful.
About a month ago, you said these unplanned and questionable tactics by federal agents would result in someone being killed at a press conference right here. Do you consider today's tactics?
What's up, Alan? Hail to you, brother.
A generic response to the fact that somebody is not there.
The question is that I had previously made several statements about being concerned about the tactics being employed. I am obviously very concerned that I have been told that a woman who was sitting in her car blocking street and not the target of any enforcement.
She tried to run an ICE agent over. There's video of it. There's multiple fucking angles of this crazy bitch trying to run an ICE agent over. Good God, what are we doing? You must be a Stranger Things fan thinking you're going to get a secret episode 9 believing in all this bullshit.
Activity is now deceased. However, I do not know, to be clear, I do not know the exact circumstances of the shooting, but I would tell you, in any professional law enforcement agency in the country, I think they would tell you it's obviously very concerning whenever there's a shooting into a vehicle of someone who's not armed. But it also is something that is possible. At times, it is justified. But it is very concerning, and it's something that most law enforcement agencies in the country train very
Spit it out, buddy.
Intensely to try and minimize the risk that law enforcement officers get placed into a situation that the need for deadly force would be necessary.
And the reason I'm going to watch this, because I have the video pulled up. I don't know if I can show the video on YouTube, but the mainstream may show one, and this is on their YouTube channel. So I will try to show you as much as I can, though.
any information other than what I have
Was she
communicated.
alone in the car? Were there children in the car with her?
The question was if she was alone in the car. I know that I got there shortly after this call came in. I did not see anyone else with her while I was on the scene. However, I've since been told by our officers that have been with her the entire time that a spouse has arrived at the hospital.
Mayor, just curious if you're thinking about contacting federal authorities to register your concerns about
This piece of shit.
personally making phone calls, etc.
Yes, we've been on the phone all morning.
Okay, I see the chat's asking the real questions. Why was a woman driving? This is getting to the core of the problem right here. Why was a woman even driving? This is the question we need to be asking ourselves, okay?
As soon as we learned about this, again, there were a series of priorities that we needed to go through. The first, of course, is to keep people safe and to help the
What's
victim
up, Carla?
any way that we could. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There was the notion that ICE agents would be
What's up,
necessary
John?
to create a perimeter around the scene itself.
John
They
freaking
themselves
Murdoch in the house.
were creating the kind of dysfunction and chaos that they claimed to be trying to help with. And so the message that we delivered very clearly was to make them leave. Now, beyond leaving the scene, they should also leave our city and our state. We do work, our chief does work, our sheriff does
This
work
guy's
every
such
single
a-
day to
this
keep
guy's the
people safe
worst.
in our city and in our state. And crime is dramatically down. Crime is down. It continues to trend down. They are doing the hard work of investigating, of arresting perpetrators of violent crime. What this federal administration is doing right now is not about creating safety. Do not let them tell you that what they are doing is about creating safety. It is not. It is having the opposite impact. We need to be clear-eyed about the work that is moving forward, and they need to leave Minneapolis.
We have time for one or two more questions.
Mayor, you may know this with your legal background. If a shooting is found to not be justified, does the city have any legal, or the state rather, have any legal recourse to bring charges against this ICE agent, given that this person is a federal agent, if the feds don't?
So obviously, and I have to always lead with this caveat because it is true, an investigation still does need to be conducted. I had my perception of what took place based on the vehicle and the vehicle's positioning. It does not appear that the individual is trying to ram anybody.
Oh, that's
Now, the question was, if it is in fact found to be an unjustified shooting, who issues the charge, who prosecutes, how does justice take place? I don't know the answer in full to that. This is obviously information that we're still working out. Chief, do you have any additional information, or Commissioner?
The only thing I would add to the mayor's statement is that the crime scene was held by the Minneapolis Police Department, and the investigation is now being led jointly by the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. And
okay, because I know people are tuning in. I'm going to show you to the best of my ability what actually happened. Okay. This vehicle right here, this is the vehicle with the woman blocking ICE agents. Okay. Now, I'm going to play this. I'm going to stop it before the shooting happens. But here we go. There's ICE agents right there. Now, they're telling her, get out. Get out of the car. They are telling her to get out of the car. Now, look in front of her. Right when she backs up, there's another agent that steps in front of her vehicle. You barely see it, all right? No! You see, there's another agent in front of her car now, okay? And then she goes forward with her vehicle as a weapon.
Oh, no, shame!
But, oh, there was the shot. I didn't mean to get this, but there's the shot right there, okay? And then the vehicle then rolls and crashes into vehicles in front of her.
God! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
Yes, she tried to
You are
accelerate.
fucking criminals! You're fucking criminals!
Oh, shut the hell up. So this is what these clowns are defending. What world do we live in where these people are saying she did not use her vehicle as a deadly weapon?
Purpose of their involvement would be to investigate whether any state laws within the state of Minnesota have been violated.
One more.
Can I just add something to that too?
Oh,
What's very-
DEI is in the house. Hey, listen, all of you white crackers need to step off and listen. All right?
important is that for our communities that we do have some kind of part in this investigation. It needs to be done on a local level. With all due respect to the federal level, we do need to make sure that our local agencies are involved. Well, certainly the BCA is very well capable of working with our federal.
I'm going to ask a question because I don't know the answer. My wonderful audience will help, I'm sure, because the audience knows more. Now, we've seen a lot of race swaps and things like that. Is this Netflix's version of Paul Blart Mall Cop? I'm just asking because it looks like Netflix presents Paul Blart Mall Cop DEI edition. Just asking questions.
Partners in doing so. That is something that is needed for our communities, and so that's something that I can tell you that there's already been conversations from the U.S. Attorney's Office to the BCA that have already taken place today. How that's going to roll out, we don't know yet, but we are making sure that there is some kind of local entity, namely the BCA.
Laughing Man says, ask the chat a question. Ask the chat.
That has a part in this investigation for the purposes of transparency and expedient transparency as to what happened today.
One more.
Sorry.
Okay, that's it.
So,
Thank you, everybody.
Final piece. Yeah. Again, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you to the media for being here and disseminating this very important information around this tragic incident. To reiterate a final message to our community members, I understand the anger. Let's unite around hope and love and peace and getting justice. That's what we need to be doing right now. I appreciate the service from everybody up here as well as the 435,000 people that call Minneapolis home. Thank you.
Housekeeping for you in just a moment after everyone.
So what a disaster. Let's hear what they're having to say here. Did I mute it?
This morning, so just about 3 hours or so ago, in that press conference, we did get some more information about this woman who was, we know, at this point, shot and killed by ICE agents. We have learned that she is a 37-year-old white woman. She appeared to be in the vehicle alone, is what the police chief said. But the spouse has made it to the hospital, but we probably should take you back just a little bit about just some of the chain of events that have happened now that we have some of that information confirmed.
And interestingly, we really still haven't learned what the initial call was, why ICE was there in the first place, who they may have been looking for. But we know that while ICE agents were there, according to Mayor Fry, there were about a dozen or so plus agents there, and that, you know, we've seen there's some video out there. We're actually going to be showing it to you here shortly so you can see for yourself. But in the course of, you know, of them looking for somebody, people started to gather, crowd started to gather, more law enforcement shows up. And I'm not exactly sure at what point the incident happened with a woman in the vehicle, but we know that there was a woman in the vehicle. And according to again, you'll see the video for yourself and you can kind of watch. There are two narratives here, one from the Trump administration, which we'll read to you in a second, and then one we just heard from local law enforcement. Okay, and Ryan's telling me that we are actually ready to show the video. So before we layer too much context here,
Viewer
why don't we
discretion is
let
advised.
you watch this, but we're going to do this in a very sort of deliberate way. Let people know
Absolutely.
that.
All right, they're showing it YouTube, not me.
Video
They're showing it YouTube, not me.
Showing for the first time. You're not going to see it a lot on our air because we want to make sure that when we're showing it, we're doing it with a purpose. So there's no audio here as well, and you're going to see this sort of play out. So just a warning to those who may not want to see this.
All right, here we go.
You can see the vehicle there. That's law enforcement pulling up in the pickup.
And it is the Honda Pilot that we should be focused on here. It's about
Why do you have? Are you going to acknowledge that they are telling her to get out of the vehicle? They are ordering her to get out of the vehicle. Is the media going to acknowledge that?
a purplish reddish color here. So let's
See
take a
that
look.
agent walking up. And then there's another agent. I don't know if you can see that.
They're telling her to get out of the vehicle. You muted their voices, you pieces of shit. You've muted their voices. They are ordering her to get out of the vehicle.
Honda Pilot that we should be focused on here. It's about a purplish reddish color here. So let's
See
take a
that
look.
agent walking up. And then there's another agent. I don't know if you can see that one right there.
Three agents involved. One was kind of closer to the front of the vehicle. The other
Closer to the front? She literally tried to run him over.
Honda Pilot that we should be focused on here. It's about a purplish reddish color here. So let's
See
take a
that
look.
agent walking up. And then there's another agent. I don't know if you can see that one right there.
Three agents involved. One was kind of closer to the front of the vehicle.
media
The other
lying
kind of
as
pulled on
usual.
that driver's side door handle.
Yeah.
There as
So
well.
again, there's no audio here. We don't know what's being said. We
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
really anything else about this woman.
Hey,
other than
I am a low rent YouTuber sitting in a spare bedroom with echoey audio and a shitty webcam, and I have already listened to what these guys said. These guys were ordering her to get out of the vehicle, but these mainstream reporters don't know what they were saying.
we know that she was not the target of the initial investigation. That was confirmed by the police chief. But there are some other angles of this as well that are being looked at. So that's kind of one pass of the video. And again, right. Okay, thanks for letting us know. Sorry. So there is some audio to this, and if you go online, you can see. So now you can see the vehicle is crashed.
Yep.
And according to law enforcement here in the Twin Cities, that woman was shot, and then the vehicle drove into the snow there, as you can see. So this is kind of the aftermath right now. This video is turned the other way. We want to just show you what's happening. We didn't have a lot on the front end of this, and every time we show video, we kind of like to show prior the incident and then as much after. But this is what we have, so we wanted to show it to you in full.
And this is also the first time that we are seeing this as well. So we're kind of just watching this together along with you. But as you can see there, you see all these houses and these homes along Portland Avenue. We know that this is a residential area. So again, we don't know much about this woman, just that she's 37 years old. We don't know if she was an observer, because that's the thing too. So a lot of these ICE agents were out there, and they say observers were out there as well. These are people that are just documenting what is going on. And so we know from the police chief's perspective, he just says that he knows that she was a woman that was in her car and she was blocking the.
It's simple as this. Fuck around, find out. And that's what happened today. All right? And this is why you should listen to me. This is why all liberal white women should listen to me. If you were at home making sandwiches, this wouldn't have happened. If you were at home making sandwiches and cleaning the house, this wouldn't happen.
Road. Yeah. And that's about all the information that we know.
Okay, right. You let me know when this is played out completely, or how close we are. Oh, there's a couple minutes left, because I just wanted to also read, because we haven't had a chance to do this, the statement from Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security, if I could as well. Do you want me to do that right now, Ryan, or do you want me to wait just a minute? Okay. Okay, so let's just kind of let's just watch this for a moment. Again, this is the aftermath.
For those that are just tuning in, this is footage from Minnesota, where ICE agents are in Minnesota right now with all of the fraud, doing all types of investigations. And a white woman, a liberal white woman, decided to pull her vehicle and block ICE. ICE agents got out of the vehicle, ordered the woman to get out. When they ordered her to get out, She then put the vehicle in reverse for a moment, then put it in drive, and then she tried to run over an ICE agent that was in front of her. When she tried to run over that ICE agent in front of her, the ICE agent opened fire, shot her, and killed her. And now you have Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, is essentially, he's not essentially saying it. Jacob Fry is telling ICE to get the F out of Minnesota. Those are his exact words, as a matter of fact. Right here. Jacob Fry says, tells ICE to get the fuck out of Minneapolis after fatal shooting of U.S. citizen. The audio is a little low right here, but this is him.
There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
Was that supposed to sound tough? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh no. Hang on. So this is the tough guy. All right. This is supposedly the tough guy right here. Okay.
Frey has got to be the worst dancer in the history of the world, and I am now boycotting the wobble all summer.
Yeah, so this is tough guy Jacob Fry right here, okay? This is the guy he's telling ICE agents, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. I'm going to tell you right now, get the fuck out. This is tough guy right here. Oh man, you're really intimidating. Man, they're probably terrified of you, buddy. They're probably real scared of tough guy Jacob Fry. Or we could show you the video where Jacob Fry was fake crying at the golden casket of George Floyd. Yes, that is Jacob Fry fake crying at the golden casket of Saint George Floyd.
To work, and don't you be afraid. Joy comes in the morning. Troubles, they don't last always.
It is the most performative garbage of all time. My goodness. Okay, back to the live feed. Yeah, Cam, man, I know there's a bunch of new angles. I'm trying to see, like, the reason I want to stay on this feed is because I don't know what I can and can't show. So I'm trying to be careful about that. Yeah, this is an interesting one right here. You get stopped by law enforcement. One orders you to get out of the car while the other is standing directly in front of you. Which do you do? A, accelerate. B, get out of the car. Guess what she decided to do? She decided to accelerate. And FAFO happened. Simple as that. So you have the Trump administration has labeled this as domestic terrorism. There are multiple angles. I'm trying to see which ones I can and can't show. Place beyond space is FAFO. Fuck around, find out. That's what FAFO means. But yeah, there are multiple angles that I'm trying to see what I can. And it's not just this, by the way. There's a lot. So this is them showing the video again. This is their edited version where they're editing out. So just so the people that are new that are popping in, the vehicle right here, the Honda Pilot that is on the right-hand side, which looks to be a maroon Honda Pilot. She is blocking ICE agents. ICE agents pull up right here. Okay, that's ICE agents pulling up. When they get out, her window is down, and they are verbally ordering her to get out of the vehicle. The media is not playing the version where you can hear it.
Okay, so this is a loop now of what happened. If we could just hang on for just 1 second. Now that people...
Now they're ordering her to get out of the vehicle. She does not get out of the vehicle.
We'll have a little traction here. Let's kind of watch this, and we'll let you just watch.
Boom. Tries to run over an ICE agent, gets shot.
Yeah, and you saw the shot fired there by the officer on the left-hand side of your screen. Let's read through the statement that the Trump administration had put out just a short time ago. I believe we have that up if we want to take that. Today, ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting targeted operations when rioters began blocking ICE officers, and one of these violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them, an act of domestic terrorism. An ICE officer, fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training and saved his own life and that of his fellow officers.
So
Okay.
we're just getting, it's a...
All right, I do have this other angle, okay? Look, we're rolling with it, okay? I'm showing this footage for educational purposes, YouTube. Okay, I'm showing this for educational purposes because I have a crazy theory that if and when you have an encounter with law enforcement, if in fact you actually comply, high chance you don't get killed. Just saying. Just a theory of mine. But I am doing this for educational purposes to teach people in the future to not do what this liberal white woman did. New angle of the moment an ICE officer fired shots at a driver in Minneapolis. The footage appears to show the agent being struck by the car before the shots were fired. The woman, 37, is deceased. Department of Homeland Security says the officer was acting in self-defense, while Minneapolis Mayor Fry claims he wasn't. Okay, so this is the video right here. You see that is the arrow right there. So that's the agent. The arrow is pointing at the agent, okay? Boom, she hit him right before the shot was fired. She literally hit him. Now, they're telling her to get out of the car. They're telling her to get out of the car, and she is refusing to get out of the car. Now, I'm going to skip forward. I don't want to get hit on this, but right there is where it happens.
Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do? Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
Out car. Out car.
No!
What the fuck?
That is the voice of a soy boy right there. What the fuck?
The fuck? Dude, what the fuck? Fucking trust. Dude, you did a murder for what?
So there you have it. That's where we are right now. Let's hear what they're talking about here on this Fox 9 channel.
Several different videos from slightly different angles. So clearly people were out there videotaping what was occurring. I know you just played the video without audio. I have in the newsroom listened to it, viewed it, and I think as the mayor and the police chief filled in some of the holes during their news conference, it appears to be a woman, again, an observer, if you will, or certainly someone who was perhaps they had their car perpendicular in the roadway. It appeared that officers went up, like ordered her to move, then ordered her to open the door, and that is when she took off. There is an agent, the ICE agent, who eventually pulls the trigger several times in the roadway, and this is where, depending on how you look at it, depending what agency is looking at it, you certainly heard the mayor called DHS.
It's not depending on how the fuck you look at it, you piece of shit.
His version of events, BS. There is an agent in the roadway. There's an open window. Car sort of gets moving, peels out. I want to be careful with my verbiage. Makes a right turn. The agent opened fires into the window. That car rolls down the road just a little bit further, and that is where it crashes into another vehicle, and they eventually get medical care. And as we now know, the 37-year-old woman perished. She died from the gunshot injuries from that incident. So there is video. The investigation will obviously play out. And Ryan, in our booth, wants to tell me now that we can play it with some audio. Why don't we roll that for you now?
No! No! Shit!
They left out the part where they're ordering her out of the vehicle. They left out the part where they're approaching the vehicle and say, get out of the vehicle. Oh my gosh.
And there it goes. We're just going to play the very initial, seconds or so there. But there's this apparent effort. Perhaps ICE was moving down the road. You could see that one, I believe it's a pickup truck. Yeah, the pickup truck, that's ICE trying to get down the road. The woman again begins with a car in a perpendicular position. I don't know how exactly.
She was just an observer. She was just an observer.
But she did appear to perhaps be blocking ICE's progress towards a target, towards a destination. I don't know. The agents got out. They were angry. They ordered her to leave. They reached for her door a couple of times, and that is when she kind of peels out to the right, and then there is an agent right there who opens fire into the window, and she is subsequently killed. So this video will be closely scrutinized by people on all sides, investigators.
There's nothing
attorney's office
to scrutinize. It's as clear as day. She tried to murder an ICE agent. It was attempted murder, and he acted in self-defense. This is as cut and dry as it can possibly be.
Has chimed in with commentary about wanting a local investigation. We heard during the news conference that the FBI with the BCA will take a look at the investigation, the use of force. Authorities at that news conference didn't appear to know exactly what could transpire on a potential charging decision when you have a federal agent working an operation in the city of Minneapolis. But no doubt, Amy, Simone, this was very much a witnessed event, a documented event. And now, whether you call it finger pointing, clearly there's anger. There was an emphasis from the city to get ICE agents out of there. They were the targets of the protests that quickly developed around there. Karen Scullin was out in it. Chemical irritants needed to be used to at least push back some of the gathering crowd. And
there's another video I got to show you. Again, I I probably am going to get age restricted on this stream. If I'm flying pretty close to the sun right now. So we are live on Rumble, just as a heads up. But I got to show you this because it's just too good not to show. Because this is more FO moments right here. Leftists are ambushing and harassing ICE agents in Minnesota after they were attacked by attempted car ramming. Lock them all up. Here you go right here.
Whoa.
Backed off real quick, didn't you, big boy? Backed off real quick, didn't you? Yep. Found out, didn't you?
It didn't make the news last night, but we had in our newsroom took a look at an incident yesterday where we now understand there was a car crash where ICE perhaps was pursuing somebody out in Eden Prairie, and there was a car crash from a fleeing a target, we believe a target of the ICE investigation. There was a mashup at an intersection there, and I saw some of the aftermath video from witnesses who quickly turned their disdain and anger and angst towards the ICE agents. People very much concerned over these last several weeks since the surge began about the way ICE conducted its business. You know, the chief warned that this day could happen, and clearly now the city of Minneapolis is responding and reeling from what took.
This is absolutely ridiculous. John freaking Murdoch says, "Hey Jeremy, sorry I didn't realize you were streaming. I was watching Gary and Chris on Nerdrotic channel. Stream on, dude. Hail iDots, hail the 199. Happy Jessica, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Munchie Ninja says, Philadelphia v. Mims, you can be ordered by law enforcement to get out of your vehicle for safety reasons." I mean, yeah, this really is not complicated at all. Like Colt Hauser says, "Jeremy, I know all about compliance with police, been pulled over a lot being black. I know how to follow orders. It's easy and saves lives as well. Praise Allah." This is not complicated. I was taught to always respect law enforcement when you're in a situation. That's how I was raised. It's like, hey, police officers, generally speaking, are always coming from a good place. It doesn't mean that every single one of them is perfect, because that's not reality. But the heavy majority of police officers are out there doing a service to keep the peace. They're trying to keep things safe. So if they pull you over, there's probably a justifiable reason. Now, if you've done nothing wrong, then all you need to do is be respectful. And it's very simple orders, like let the window down, put your hands on the steering wheel as the officer approaches, have your fingers spread on the steering wheel so that the officer knows that you. But if the officer's walking up and you're like fumbling, around in your glove box and your window is up and you're already creating a tension that shouldn't be there. These are not complicated things. If you've done nothing wrong, then just show some respect and try to de-escalate the situation to the best of your ability. This is not complicated at all. I mean, an officer going into that situation, they're already tense enough because they don't know who they're dealing with. And if you're making the situation even more tense, you're just asking for a bad situation. So, so I have zero sympathy for people that, basically ask for it in these situations.
He responds. I think getting ICE out of there from what they're calling a crime scene now, right? It's a crime scene now. There's an active investigation into law enforcement's use of force. It's a new territory, certainly for the folks involved. The mayor, who's the attorney himself, didn't quite know exactly sort of the legal processes here that take place. The FBI and the BCA now probing the shooting itself.
Somebody said, "I don't trust cops, but you comply and fight in court." Well, I don't trust anyone, period. But we as a society, who do we call when we're in trouble? Who do we call if we think somebody's breaking in the house? We call the fucking police. We as a society have determined that police officers are there to keep the peace, to protect and serve. We as a society have decided that. Well, besides Ghostbusters, of course we call Ghostbusters first, but after that, but I mean, all of the people that virtue signal about how much they hate the police, they're the first people to call the police when they need them. They're the first people to do that. Alan Tanasi says, finally got my shirt. I am now rolling around the streets of Long Beach, California with the 199 tactical backpack, D-Day shirt, and the OG green Game Boy, like a G'd up gangster retro nerd. Hail the 199. Dude, you are going to get all the ladies. Like, ladies, settle down, okay? You are going to have all the ladies. That is just a fact. What is this?
Members still on scene, of course, as well as the FBI as they investigate what has happened here.
Yeah, I had the chance to move since the last time I was on the air, and now we can kind of see a block further down south on 34th here in Portland that there is still quite an active scene. We can see Hennepin County Sheriffs, Minneapolis Police are trying to keep the peace out here, and what is going on aside from the protests out here is that you see them right there. That is FBI here on the scene. We are also.
Hey, I just saw this in my feed. Apparently, let's see, heads up, Nick Shirley and Cam Higbee. This person right here just threatened you guys on his own live feed. He says the following: I'm going to harass the F out of right-wing propagandists. They will have security, but security will have to earn their paycheck. Wow.
You know what I'm thinking of doing with my media, guys? All the right-wing propagandists, harassing the fuck out of them. I'm talking tracking where they're at and then just literally following them with a feed. They can't fight, so they'll have security, but that's fine. Security will have to earn their paycheck that day. But I think we should just, any of these right-wing, like Nick Shirley's, we have to follow them around. Cam Higbee, Nick Shirley, fucking the whole Antifa roundtable journalist bullshit. All of them.
I don't know who this person is. I've never heard of this person. Yeah, saying that the security is going to have to earn their paycheck that day is pretty wild. That's a pretty wild take.
They need to not be able to move without the entire country in which people are against Trump know where they're at. Agenda Free reported it. Mercado Media did.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but yeah, I just saw that. So, yikes. A lot of crazy shit happening right now, man.
Asking for. And so, yeah, I can see the vehicle now from where I'm standing where this all happened. You know, I think we've seen the video here where she was on the street and some agents kind of came on either side of her vehicle. And as she started moving away, the gunshots were fired. I'm standing right there where she eventually crashed into another car, a telephone pole. And so that's the end of the scene. I can see the airbag is deployed. You know, looking at the back, there's quite a few bumper stickers on.
I'm a motorcycle rider. I was stopped once by the police. I turned my machine off, took off my helmet, and placed it on the ground. Everything went smoothly with no problems. This is as simple as it gets, man. If you got nothing to hide, if you're not doing anything illegal, then simply just make the situation go by as easy as possible. You know? Let's see here. Graham Robinson says, if she was just sitting in her car, then the dudes who did September 11th were just enjoying transcontinental flights. JRG Project says, now the left will be screaming J7 in any event. ICE has federal authority. They have supremacy. Call the Insurrection Act. Islis says, the media and the lefties need to look into Pennsylvania versus Mims. This is the case saying that if law enforcement orders you to get out, you have to. let's see. Levi says, I have to know, did the agent get out a catchphrase? Evil Black Cat says, I'll bet $100 the victim had a septum piercing and tattoos. Any takers? Ryan Miller says, the Democrats are responsible for the rhetoric of demonizing ICE agents. People like Tim Walz calling them Gestapo to rally up the radical lunatic base. So we need to put the blame on the Democrats. Well, this is definitely par for the course for the Democrats. They get people riled up. They demonize people. Like what happened? Did you guys hear what happened at Hilton the other day? So there was a Hilton hotel in Minnesota where DHS tried to get hotels. They went ahead and paid for the hotels and got everything set up, and then Hilton responded and canceled all of their hotel rooms. And they said that they were not going to support DHS and ICE and anything like that. Okay. So then apparently, now you have to understand a lot of this is like Hilton branding. So like this is like an independently owned hotel. Hilton does this a lot, but then they put the branding on it. So Hilton has the branding. So they are a partner of Hilton. So then the Hilton company finds out, Hilton gets involved and says, no, we don't do that. We don't play politics. You guys are welcome. They went back and the owner still refused. Okay. Then Hilton steps in and pulls their partnership completely from the hotel. Says, all right, fuck you. And that's going to crush the hotel, by the way. But yeah, so Nick Sortor and others were involved in it. It was a crazy situation, but this is the Democratic mindset of how they have poisoned the mind of so many people.
Photos and videos as some of those operations were being done just yesterday. So again, you can imagine some of those people, maybe some of those observers, but then also likely just community members at this point hearing about some of what happened. We mentioned there's a lot of video online. So what people sometimes do when they see those videos, they react to them. They want to help. They want to be a part of it in some way. And law enforcement is in an interesting perspective here because we heard police chief.
This idiot, Tim Walz, just tweeted out, says, I've seen the video. Don't believe the propaganda machine. Are you kidding me? Hang on. I'm going to have to respond to this tweet. I'm going to have to. Okay, so he posted this 22 minutes ago. Oh my gosh, dude. What an awful human being he is. You know what? No, I can't do that one. I was going to do a Breaking Bad meme. on it. But we're not going to do that one yet. I'm going to have to save that one for another one. What meme can we respond with from this one? Because we need to, you know what? We're just going to go with the old but gold meme. All right. Old but gold. So let's see if my reply shows up yet. We just made it simple. Old but gold. That's it. Just keep it simple. That's what we think of you, Tim Walz. Simple as that, okay? There it is. All right, back to this.
I've been following here in the course of these ICE operations because if you kind of just watch carefully, there are groups on the ground here locally who are really trying to educate people on how to stay safe while they're protesting, but yet not compromise the passion that they're feeling for things. Marie Purcell joins us now. She's with Veterans for Peace, a group here locally that has about 100 members. Thank you for joining us, Marie. Just first and foremost, I guess, just how are you feeling as you're watching this all unfold today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think a lot of us that have been trying to show up and serve as constitutional observers or like legal observers.
Okay, I don't think anybody's going to care what she has to say. All right, check it out right here. Breaking: despite violence against ICE agents this morning, Border Patrol Commander is still out doing immigration raids. ICE will not be stopped. You will not stop them.
They're in front of me. How come y'all looking at me?
Hey, hey. It's always Democratic states and cities. Always. You don't see this in red states and red cities. You don't see it. You never see this.
We're gonna do an interview. Real ugly on you. That head look real ugly on you, you bitch. I gotta make sure I got the red kid, bitch. Red kid.
Which state is worse, California or Minnesota? California still. Well, California actually has so much beautiful land. The majority of California is beautiful, and the majority of California has level-headed people. It's just that the deep blue areas of California are such a cancer and such a disease. But per capita, and again, I'm just speculating here, but like it's probably Minnesota per capita. Probably. God, it's so loud and obnoxious. Why do these people like, good Lord, what are they doing, man? But let's see what else we have going on here. Who are these people? Losers, paid protesters. Let's see. I'm seeing what other updates. Let's go back to the feed here just to hear. Let me get us caught up because we are a little behind. Okay, there's the vehicle, the lady's vehicle.
All of these agencies on the scene here, as well as the sheriff's department, had been investigating this for the last few hours. So this vehicle will then be taken, but we're not sure, when the crime tape will be taken down and then what this will look like afterwards. But of course, we'll play that out for you as that happens. But Maria, I did want to ask you, as you're talking about this, do you kind of just feel like you're just at an ending point where it's, you have the question of what can we do at this point? If you're mentioning, you have this team of dedicated people, documenting ICE, you're trying to go to, as you mentioned, city council or the important people, we would say, in these positions.
Okay, don't care. Let's see. We got Roland for 20. Says thanks again. Trickling in. You got me about 250 subs. The franchisee was fired by Hilton. They lost their franchise. You are our expert. Let's see. Hang on. You are our expert on submitting making sandwiches and saying gay. Love you, brother. Any word on Vegas? Vegas is a Gary deal. So I don't know what his plan is yet. I'm still trying to get everything from MegaCon pinned down right now. So, but yeah, that's a Gary. Will have all the Vegas details. Jeeping Baylor says, "Did you see what the Hodge twins posted? Looks like she was trying to flee. WTF?" I haven't seen what they posted, but there's a ton of different angles out there right now that I just keep seeing all types of different angles. It's all over the place. So if you're just tuning in, Minnesota, Chaos is happening right now in Minnesota. You had an ICE agent open fire on a woman that was using her vehicle as a deadly weapon. And so whenever you hear this narrative that she didn't have a weapon, which is what the left is trying to run with, she did have a weapon. It was her vehicle, and she was trying to use her vehicle to murder an ICE agent. So the ICE agent, in self-defense, responded and shot and killed this woman that was blocking traffic right here. Breaking, more major fake news operation from the left just got debunked. They claim the ICE agent shot the terrorist from the driver window. The bullet hole is in the windshield. So here, let's hear this.
But it would appear, we'll see what the investigation reveals, that the shot came from in front of the vehicle. Just get your thoughts now on what we know so far.
I heard multiple shots. So obviously you got one shot through the front window, but I did hear multiple shots. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it's at. It doesn't matter if it was through the window or not. She didn't comply. So regardless as to where it came from is pretty irrelevant. So, but I heard at least 2 shots. Let's see. Oh my gosh, dude. On one hand, context is important. Context is important, okay? But I am very happy that we are where we are with independent media and everyone having a voice, because it's far better than the mainstream being the narrative drivers. With that said, with the rise of independent media and everyone having a voice, you have unbelievably stupid people using their stupid voices. One of those stupid people is Aaron Rupar, who is one of the most pathetic people on all of social media. Christy Nome says, anyone who is a citizen of this country or is here legally has nothing to fear. And he says, ICE just killed an American citizen. God. These people are nuts, man. This guy has been crying about Trump for about 10 years. Okay? He's been crying about Trump for about 10 years now. Let's see. And if you missed it earlier, tough guy Jacob Fry had this to say.
There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better. But I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave.
Ain't nobody going nowhere. Now, we do have this slow-mo version, okay? This is a slow-motion version of what happened. So let me paint the picture for all of you first. This is a Honda Pilot SUV, okay? The woman was blocking traffic, blocking ICE agents, okay? ICE agents stopped, got out of their vehicle, approached her vehicle, and gave verbal commands for her to get out of the vehicle. She refused to get out of the vehicle. The ICE agent attempted to open the door and take her out of the vehicle since she did not listen to their commands. She then presses the gas and goes forward. There's another ICE agent in front of her vehicle, and you will the reaction time of this ICE agent. This is like Batman level shit, dude. Okay, like this is Batman level. The reaction. So here's the slow-mo. We're going to mute it. See the ICE agent in front of her, okay? Now she's already, you see the front wheel, okay? Front wheel was already spinning. So she's already going forward. Okay? Here we go. Look at the reaction time from Batman. Batman ain't fucking around. Boom. That is Batman level reaction time. Holy crap. That's impressive. So yes, she tried to murder this ICE agent. That is attempted murder. That is what it is. There's no discussion to be had. I mean, again, we're talking about people that are telling you that men can get pregnant. We're dealing with people that think that men belong in women's sports. Like, this is what, like, these people are nuts, man. So they are now, we have video showing you that this woman tried to run over an ICE agent. And these people, the same people that tell you that men can get pregnant, are telling you nothing happened. Like, what planet do we live in? There's literally video evidence of it. Oh my gosh, man. But it's only going to make them look stupid over the course of time. So I guess that's the positive. The more that they talk, the stupider that they look. Now, and look, at least we have somebody. At least we have somebody who's willing to tell it like it is. President Trump, right here.
And she gets up and they put a little tiny thing like this, little thing. And my wife, by the way, my wife hates when I do this. She said, you know, she's a very classy person, right? She said, it's so unpresidential. I said, but I did become president. You know, she hates when I dance. I said, everybody wants me to dance. Darling, it's not presidential. She actually said, could you imagine FDR dancing? She said that to me. And I said, there's a long history that perhaps she doesn't know.
FDR dancing. I saw a comment on somebody's video and it said, born to be a comedian, forced to be president. That is President Trump right there. Born to be a comedian, forced to be president.
Because he was an elegant fellow, even as a Democrat, right? He was the attack by Japan, you know, he was quite elegant, but he wouldn't be doing this. But nor would too many others. But she says, darling, please, the weightlifting is terrible. And I have to say this, the dancing they really like. She said, they don't like it, they're just being nice to you. I said, that's not right. The place goes crazy. They're screaming, dance, please. But the weightlifting, but no, the girl gets up. And you see, I want to be more, but I have somebody watching. I want to be more effusive. I want to really, yeah. But she gets it, and drops the thing, walks off the stage crying. Her mother's crying, her father's crying. Guy gets up. He said, have you lifted before? A little bit. And he walks up, bing. He could have gone ding, 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 ding. I think it was 112 pounds, right? It's crazy.
My point being is that these are the people that are saying men can get pregnant, men belong in women's sports. They're telling us that nothing happened today. It's crazy, dude. It's absolutely insane.
To write, use some of this language, and also how to use their phones as well. I believe we had a reporter who did one of the stories yesterday. I think it was Maury, who talked with someone about some of these trainings, because I think there was about 100 people in St. Paul specifically. Again, these are constitutional observers who are learning how to handle situations just like the one that we're looking at right now. So again, that's use of phone, how to document what's going on, your constitutional right that you have as you are standing there, maybe not too far from a police officer. And we know Police Chief Brian O'Hara also talked about that as well, of just the safe way to do that. He says, you know,
I try not to talk about sports too much here, but this is a pretty big story right here. Giants, breaking news. Giants are finalizing a deal with Nicolas Maduro to become their new head coach. All right. Good job, New York Giants. All right, man, this is going to get them back on track. So looking forward to next football season. Coach Maduro, he's got a lot planned for
You know, like
I love
like
the
Marie,
internet, dude.
who's a
I
member of Veterans
love
for
the
Peace,
internet so
trying
much.
to move, you know, legislation in you know, in her words, and just really try to change the way that the laws are written right now. Seeing some what she believes are injustices there. Also on the law enforcement side, we heard Chief Brian O'Hara talking about the increase in training right now, specifically in.
Okay, we're gonna see if there's because well, this channel, that's Fox News. I had okay, this is the same feed, just a different it actually has a better feed. So we're gonna go to this feed right here. And at least they could keep us updated on stuff.
Brian O'Hara of Minneapolis PD did not have as strong as language as the mayor did when it came to sort of saying that this was, you know, not self-defense. He was very, very careful because clearly law enforcement, he needs to be very careful. This investigation is now turned over to the FBI and the BCA here locally to see if any Minnesota state laws.
Look, they Trump I don't know if Trump has made, I know the Trump administration has made a statement on this. I don't know if Trump himself has made a statement on this, but Trump needs to make an example of Minnesota right now. Like, now you have all of the reasons to go make an example of this. Don't let this become another summer of love. We all remember what happened with Summer Love. And I personally think that that was a huge misstep on Trump's part. I think that was a huge misstep because he should not, like, I know that he offered National Guard support and everything, and a lot of these Democratic, you know, mayors and governors declined it. But, like, look what happened, man. Like, look what happened. Make an example of Minnesota. I guess we have no audio here. I don't know why I don't have any audio on this at the moment. What is this? Is this more chaos? Warning, new video shows chaotic scene of the ICE-involved shooting in Minnesota. So this is a different one? Or...
Kill someone else!
I gotta watch that again. I gotta watch that. You sprayed them like I spray bugs. You like spray it, like, get the fuck out of my house. Get out of the way, idiot. Get. Oh. Oh, shit.
Move! Get out of the way! Get out! Get out of the way! Get out the way!
He just threw that little dude, man. He just threw that little dude.
Wait, get out. Trust, get out the way. Get out the way of the truck. Move. Fuck you, Pluto. Fuck you. Nazi. Brings back memories.
I just don't know what possesses a person to even want to like get involved in this crazy shit. You know what I mean? Nandy for 50 says, so I am of two minds. One, she did hit him clearly, no question, irrespective of intent. Two, I believe the ICE agent will be pulled out of the field. I also believe self-defense will hold up. Well, the ICE agent will more than likely be pulled out of the field because of the investigation. But I think once the investigation is done, that ICE agent should not only be allowed back to work, he should be given a promotion and a raise and a bonus. Because that was an attempt on his life. And he responded the exact way that he should have. So Nick for 20 says, I don't understand why ICE isn't arresting the mayor and people in Minneapolis who are interfering with them. Don't forget, this is the woke mind virus city that pushed the George Floyd psyop. I don't really either. I mean, you know, at this point in time, Jacob Fry is directly putting ICE agents in harm's way with his language. It's direct as direct can be. And I don't know why he's allowed to do that. This behavior right here is because of Jacob Fry and Tim Walz. All of this is happening because of them.
What are you doing? Breaking families, man. You're breaking families, motherfucker. Get out of their way. Get out of their way. Hey, let the vehicle leave. You guys are breaking families, man. You can't be doing that.
Oh, shit. Didn't mean to do that.
What are you doing? Breaking families, man. You're breaking families, motherfucker. Get out of their way. Get out of their way. Hey, let the vehicle leave. You guys are breaking families, man. You can't be doing that.
The amount of leftists right now on Twitter that are trying to say, even with the video, they're responding to the video of the shooting and they're saying that it wasn't justified. It is unbelievable how stupid these people are.
Fuck off! Get back!
This is crazy. By the way, By the way, I do think it's kind of bullshit that Fox News is covering up the logo of who is it that they are covering up right now? Like Fox News is taking the video from them and covering it up. Who is that? Let me see. It's Freedom something, I think. That they're covering up. See if I can find it. freedomnews.tv, and Fox News is covering up their logo.
That was the scene where confrontation was building for John, as we can now see on video, was building for a matter of minutes. Not exactly sure how long that went on, but clearly we saw tear gas and pepper spray deployed.
Yeah, I know they had FNTV under the new video, but they were blocking out the, they put their overlay on it.
As those ICE agents who were driving in trucks were starting to be blocked by what appeared to be a quickly growing crowd of protesters who were clearly stepping in front of the vehicles, trying to stop the vehicles from being able to move. And that obviously escalated to what we now know is an ICE-involved shooting, which involved a woman ramming her car to the point where the ICE agents said that they had to protect themselves and others around them, fired off a shot. That woman is now deceased, as Christy Noem just confirmed.
So there you have it. Let's see where we're at right now. Is something else about to go down right here?
The police chief, we heard from him earlier, along with the mayor of Minneapolis. We want to play back that sound. If you weren't able to join us there from Chief Brian O'Hare, let's take a listen.
So the question was, what can I share about the deceased? There is nothing to indicate that this woman was the target of any law enforcement investigation or activity. This woman was in her car, and it appears then blocking the street because of the presence of federal law enforcement, which is obviously something that has been happening, not just in Minneapolis, but around the country. She appears to be a middle-aged white woman.
Chief, just about a month ago, you said these unplanned and questionable tactics by federal agents would result in someone being killed at a press conference right here.
The sign language woman is very, very distracting. To the point, it looks like Gilbert Gottfried, R.I.P. Gilbert Gottfried, but like it's very distracting.
Do you consider today's tactics in line with that, or do you just have a generic response to the fact that somebody is not there?
The question is that I had previously made several statements about being concerned about the tactics being employed. I am obviously very concerned that I have been told that a woman who was sitting in her car blocking the street and not the target of any enforcement activity is now deceased. However, I do not know, to be clear, I do not know the exact circumstances of the shooting, but I would tell you in any professional law enforcement agency in the country, I think they would tell you it's obviously very concerning whenever there's a shooting into a vehicle of someone who's not armed. But it also is something that is possible. At times, it is just.
Why is Jacob Fry staring at him? It's almost like he's like, you better say what I want you to say. That's such a weird way. Like, why is he standing there staring at him over his shoulder type thing? That's fucking weird, dude.
But it is very concerning, and it's something that most law enforcement agencies in the country train very intensely to try and minimize the risk that law enforcement officers get placed into a situation that the need for deadly force would be necessary.
Has there been any indication of the need of this case?
I didn't hear the question, I'm sorry.
Has there been any indication of the need to shoot into the vehicle?
The question was any indication about the need. I guess getting back to the justification of this, I have not seen any information other than what I have communicated.
Was she alone in the car? Were there children in the car with her?
The question was if she was alone in the car. I know that I got there shortly after this call came in. I did not see anyone else with her while I was on the scene. However, I've since been told by our officers that have been with her the entire time that a spouse has arrived at the hospital.
So you're just,
and I know we saw this earlier, but like I said, I thought, and again, this is what happens when you're just like, you know, way caught up in the entertainment industry or whatever. But when I first saw this press conference, I thought that they were introducing Netflix's version of Paul Blart Mall Cop. As you see the young lady right there next to the police officer, I thought they were like, this is Netflix version of Paul Blart Mall Cop. I was disappointed. That's what I thought we were getting. And I was like, dude, we can roast this. This will be great. But that's not what happened.
The entire time that a spouse has arrived at the hospital.
So you're just listening to Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. Interestingly enough, I was sitting at my desk yesterday listening to the chief in his 2025 year review.
Don't disrespect
about,
Paul,
you know,
bro.
How, shooting numbers are down, and North Minneapolis is a lot safer in a lot of other precincts and areas. But what was interesting that he mentioned, he was asked yesterday about some of these ICE agents and maybe his fear of what could potentially happen. And I did want to read some of this because he just said this yesterday. So he said, I have been concerned for weeks that because the issue is so emotional, the way some of this stuff has been carried out, the greatest risk to me is that there will be unrest or there will be a tragedy. Somebody could get seriously hurt or killed because of what is happening. And then he said to members of the community who have a constitutional right to observe, record, and object to the conduct of law enforcement, that you do so peacefully in our community. A lot of businesses in the immigrant community are on Lake Street, and he specifically was talking about that particular area. But he said,
okay,
you
so
are going to...
we can listen to these clowns, or we can listen to what Kristi Noem has to say about it, because she has commented on it right here. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem labels today's attack on ICE agents in Minneapolis an act of domestic terrorism.
There, you asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
Yes.
An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy over 2,000 more officers to the Minneapolis area. And in the last 2 days, we've arrested hundreds and hundreds of dangerous criminals, not just fraudsters who stole from the American people billions of dollars and put it in their pockets and enriched their friends from overseas and themselves, but also individuals who committed acts of murder and rape and trafficking and drug exploitation and child exploitation. So we're going to continue to do our work. And I want to remind everybody that the act like we saw today of using a vehicle to try to kill an officer and his colleagues and the other people around him is something that every politician, every elected official, everyone in this country should be able to rally around and say that it is wrong. And that sanctuary cities and sanctuary states that protect individuals who do that should no longer be allowed. That those individuals that are in leadership positions in these sanctuary jurisdictions need to work with us to make sure that every single person that's out there enforcing the law can be safe, but also so that all of our citizens can continue to be safe too. Domestic acts of terrorism like this will not stand, and I'm grateful that we have the leadership in Washington, D.C. that recognizes it, and will make sure that it's working to keep every single community safe, regardless.
Kristi Noem, right out of an episode of Yellowstone, dude. Every time I see Kristi Noem rocking the cowboy hat, I feel like I'm watching an episode of Yellowstone.
Of who's in charge in that city. President Trump gets up every day and will work to keep people safe, whether they're in a red state or a blue state, or in a city that has a Republican mayor or a mayor that has a Democrat mayor.
So we do have a comment from President Trump. President Trump has made a statement. Let's listen to President Trump.
My fellow Americans, it is with overwhelming enthusiasm that I am declaring that anyone who protests or interferes with ICE and their operations is officially gay, big time. With that being said, go ahead and call your dads, tell them about your alternative lifestyle as a gay communist. And then who knows, maybe eat a lollipop. I don't know what flamers do with their time, but I'd imagine it's something along those lines. Maybe decorate a bathroom, who knows? In either case, this is who you are now, and everybody knows it. Cat's out of the bag. Cat is out of the bag.
Oh, man. Obviously a deep fake. Obviously. Now, somebody commented that, shit.
Up here,
Hang on.
you can see a lot of these protesters, these people in the community responding to this, and now we're having
Here we go. This is live. This is live right here.
We have been saying what we did see earlier, and now it's once again you can see them throwing some of those snowballs at those vehicles, some of which we can see have just drove off as well.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just reading through some notes here in real time as we're just going to kind of let you watch some of. I don't know if we have audio, if we're not going to play audio or let audio go.
I heard somebody in the chat said that Tim Walz is supposed to be speaking soon. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I'm sure that this feed that I'm watching will cover it if, in fact, that does happen. But if anybody's heard anything, let me know. Let me know.
And as our photographers are getting situated there, you might see some shaky video. Of course, they're in the middle of all of what's happening right now, but we're looking at the aftermath of what has happened there on 34th in Portland after a woman was killed by an ICE agent. She was inside of her vehicle. There were 3 agents outside of that vehicle. There was some sort of exchange of words done. One of the agents tried to pull in her door handle. She then ended up driving off, and then those shots were fired.
So we're watching, just kind of watching for anybody who, seeing how close they kind of get at this point. Obviously, they're throwing snowballs, and I guess I've never looked up the rule around snowballs. We know about things like spitting or pushing law enforcement, but I guess snowballs would be a new one. I haven't looked into that one, but to see if anybody sort of gets up close to any of these vehicles or impedes their progress to leave that scene.
Okay, let's see here. Matt says, Jared, this is Trump's fault. He's allowed these protests to go on unabated. Why he's such a kitty who refuses to squash these people is beyond me. I'm tired of the weakness from him. I mean, that's a take, but I don't know the legalities of a lot of this. I mean, I would like to see more arrests too, but Trump's fighting a lot of different battles in a lot of different ways. I would like to see him to be more aggressive, but ultimately there are local officials that, again, the reason the United States is the way that it is and operates the way it operates is because we have a system in place. We have a local officials that are running these cities the way that they are. So if you're going to blame Trump for what's going on in a blue city, are you going to give him credit for what's happening in a red city? So is it Donald Trump's fault that Ron DeSantis runs Florida the way he does? Is it Donald Trump's fault that a blue city operates the way it runs? This is the United States of America. Local elections happen. People support who they want to support, and they are then responsible for the environment that they have voted for. Trump is not a dictator. He's not a king as much as I would like him to be. He's not. And so what you're essentially crying about is that Donald Trump is not the dictator that the left claims that he is. If you have a problem, and I just said this earlier, but it seems to always be blue cities that this happens in. Must be Donald Trump's fault. I mean, it's just this, it's a retarded take. And what you're doing is you're listening to people on social media that are not interested in having a nuanced take. They're interested in crying for the sake of crying. It's just ignorant to think that Donald Trump is responsible for the behavior of blue cities in the United States of America. But yes, I would like for the administration to be a little more aggressive, but at the same time, there's local officials for a reason. Magnum Norse for 20 says, I lived in Minnesota for 34 years. These assholes stole my money for a long time. Well, I'm glad you're out now, Magnum Norse. Good to see you, brother. And he says, Jacob Fry is gay. That's why he stares. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that one. The glory of Rome is forever says, in my humble opinion, justified, yes. Necessary, no. You have her plate. You have her on camera. Just go pick her up at home, and no one has to grieve a dead mom tonight. I'm sad all around. Not a terrible take from you, but at the same time, I have to, as a police officer, as a law enforcement officer, as an ICE agent, if you have someone that is a threat to the public, you need to neutralize that threat before that threat hurts someone else. So I would much rather, in the hypothetical sense that this erratic person who tried to kill an ICE agent, I would much rather that person be in the situation they are in right now than for that person to then get away from the police officers after they attempted to murder the police officer or the ICE agent and then run into a school bus or run into an SUV with a family in it, or hit an old lady walking across the street. This person proved that they were unhinged. They proved that they were a danger to the people around them, and the ICE agent neutralized them and stopped the situation before it got out of hand. So ultimately, the person is responsible for their own actions, and their own actions got them shot. So nobody's happy that someone's dead in isolation, but I'm happy that someone who tried to attempted murder on an ICE agent is no longer there to harm anyone else. Mexican flag, there you have it. Captain JP says obstruction of justice tax. Midnight Light says, Jeremy, can you go recall all Minnesota Dems? Was it an Asian woman driving? Where's X-Ray Girl at? Nader's channel says, I wonder if he'll cry at her funeral. Midnight Light says, please realize Jacob Fry is I don't know what you're saying there. Heavy D says, oh shit, it's the sheriff, freeze mofo. Graham Robbins says, you don't hate the media enough. Some guy from Maine says, should have stayed in the kitchen. Zinny Biscuit says, new hair, who dis? Look at Zinny Biscuit rocking the new hair. What's up, Zinny Biscuit? Hail to you. BC Man says, that's like a puppy barking, trying to act tough and shit. Coopster says, y'all making leering fun. Southeastern Kaiju says, one less Karen tax. Philip Butler says, that's a Fox affiliate editing out the sound. Cole Hauser says, keep your hands at 10 and 2 on the wheel. Andrew says, hail, old school outrage tactics aren't going to work anymore. Body cams and phone cameras will ensure the truth comes out. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Insomniac says, I'm behind the stream on what authority do local officers have to command federal officers to leave a scene they are involved in. It's called democratic outrage. They don't need justification or anything other than to play the victim. And that's what's happening right now all over social media with these idiots. Nullface says, I realized a long time ago that the cliche of fascists make the trains run on time really just means communists can't run anything competently. Jim says, Jacob Fry is trying to start a riot. He absolutely is. And if he is successful in starting that riot, do you know who they will blame it on? Who will they blame it on? Trump. Let's see. Tim Walz reacts to... All right, so is Tim Walz going to go live? Hang on.
As we continue to talk to people here on the ground. Amy Simone?
Leon, sorry, and I'm sorry if I missed it. We're gathering a few things here. Did you say, are police still there at all, or have all of them gone away? Because we were looking at an aerial shot and they were driving away. So I just was interested to know if they are still there from what you can see.
Sorry, Simone. Sorry, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, I just got a notification for Fox News that Tim Walz, I guess, is going to go live. I can't wait to hear this one. I can't wait to hear this one. This is going to be a good one. To hear his response to all of this. So we're waiting to see. Let me hear what they say.
At this point?
Yeah. So it looks like police left from this area. I'm just going to take a quick look down the street here. It looks like police have left this area for the most part. And it looks like there's a couple of community crossing guards to help direct traffic, it looks like. But yes, this intersection is reopened back up and people can go in and out around here. We see some cars driving around here. But again, there are still people gathered here at the scene. And a lot of people have been here since like 10 this morning. So it's been a long day for a lot of people. And actually you can hear whistles in the distance. There's been people on these whistles whistling consistently as I hear this noise. That's one distinct noise that has stood out here. But again, Simone and Amy, a lot has happened today here in general as things continue to unfold and as we continue.
Tim Walz, this is almost as bad as January 6th. Yeah, that's the narrative they'll build around it. Jason says, D-Day cover, thank you for your coverage and work. Hail. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Let down Portland Avenue.
I appreciate all of you being here while we cover all of this craziness. So thanks for the support. A lot of people watching. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I never ask people to subscribe, but I need to start doing that. So please subscribe if you're new around here.
Portland Avenue there. As you can imagine, people may be trying to get home, leaving their homes. This is the first time that they are able to do so because all of this area was blocked off by...
John the Beagle Dad says, I'm a nobody, just a loyal supporter. You are not a nobody. If you're in this chat, you're somebody to me. I still don't know why anybody watches my channel. I have no idea, but I really do appreciate it. How did I randomly lose 1,000 subs yesterday? I didn't lose 1,000 subs. Basically, when your channel hits a certain threshold, then YouTube only publicly counts. YouTube only publicly counts by the thousands. So I can show you right now if I could find it. I don't remember where this is at. It's been so long since I looked this up. Creator demographics. I don't even know where it's at anymore. Where do you look up your sub count on the back end? Analytics, maybe? Yeah, right here. So if you go to live sub count, yesterday we were at 169,080 because I was at 170 and then it dropped below that. So if it drops down, if I lose 12 subs right now, it'll tell you that I lost 1,000 because it only counts by the thousands. You know what I mean? So anyway, but it's what happens when you live stream a lot on YouTube. You don't grow a lot when you do a ton of live streams like I do. So it's just how it is. So John the Beagle Dad says, thanks, Jeremy. Been following you since welcome to another video days. That's right. That's right. All right. Yeah, like if once you get to I think once you get to 100,000 subscribers, it only counts by the thousands publicly. So, I think that's how it works. Does Jeremy even make videos anymore? Yes, I've made a lot of videos lately for Geeks and Gamers for the first time in a long time. If you go over to Geeks and Gamers right now, my main channel, look at that. I made a video 12 hours ago. I made a video a day ago, and 4 days ago. Prior to that, there was a 1 month gap. I had not been making a lot of videos, but I've made like 4 videos in the past 4 days over on Geeks and Gamers now. So we're back. We're back, baby.
Yesterday that I think I have the quote here. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with with us that are here for a show for the cameras, is what he said. And this was just yesterday. So we know that agents have been going door to door. But again, in this particular incident, from what happened here today, we don't know, what kind of operation was being done here. Still a lot of questions with that, and still a lot of questions about this woman who we now know is deceased.
Mm-hmm.
So
too many layers to all of this to really even get into. I mean,
okay, so I have a feed pulled up about Tim Walz going to be addressing the ICE officer shooting that's going to be happening soon. So we're waiting for that right now. So I do have that feed pulled up. I can't wait to hear what this clown has to say. He's already denying it. So he's already denying that this was justified, because of course he is. Is this right here? DHS policy on use of deadly force. Saw Breaking 911 was posting that. There are so many angles of this right now. And you know what's funny is a lot of these angles are people that were protesting this. And what's funny is all of these people that are uploading video of the shooting, they are essentially just destroying their own narrative. Because they think by uploading this video, they think that they're exposing the ICE agent. But what they're doing is they're only confirming that the ICE agent was justified, because they're so damn stupid. Because these people don't realize how insane they are. So like, I'm gonna expose these ICE agents. It's like, okay, what angle? I could show you the slow-mo angles that we have. I've shown it enough. So if this video gets age restricted, it is what it is. So while we're waiting for Tim Walz, here it is right here. Okay. Here we go. So let's back this up. Okay. So right here, this is the video, the Honda Pilot. That's the woman that was blocking ICE agents and blocking traffic, blocking the road. These ICE agents pull up, get out of their vehicle, and order her to get out of her vehicle. She refused to get out of her vehicle. They approach the vehicle, and then she presses the gas to go forward while there was another ICE agent in front of her. He moves out of the way. She still makes contact. He opens fire on her, and the rest is history. So here we go. She's backing up. There he is right there. As soon as she goes forward after him, he draws his weapon. Boom, fires in, makes contact. She's done. We've got another angle right here. As you see, it's hard to see because it's blurry, but this is him right there. And the vehicle obviously is attacked. She is attacking him. She makes contact with him. And he opens fire. And here's another angle. There you have it. FAFO. Simple as that.
Life here. We've been covering many of these, and behind the scenes, we've been watching the video that doesn't always make the air, so we're able to see some of what's happening on the ground. And there are some organizations and groups here locally who are folks who are constitutional observers. These are folks who want to be out there documenting and doing everything they can within their First Amendment rights to make a difference. And
to show you how they feel in Minnesota, they are burning American flags in the streets now because, of course, this is what they're doing. This is the Democratic Party of 2026. Right here. And we're supposed to take these people seriously. We're supposed to have sympathy for them. None whatsoever. Zero sympathy. Zero. Horrible, horrible people. People are freaking crazy, dude. Absolutely nuts.
flowers there right now. More and more people, I suppose, as the day wears on, will probably stop and maybe continue to pay their respects or just kind of see what's going on. And law enforcement, it's our understanding, has left that area now. So this would be an area where you could roam pretty freely if you choose. There's a vigil, I believe, scheduled for 5 o'clock.
Yep.
5 o'clock this intersection as well, 34th East in Portland, in Minneapolis.
Yeah, and we can imagine that we'll probably see scenes like this throughout the day today as people, you know, pay their respects in the way that they choose to. And right now we're looking at that being of, you know, laying flowers, of being there together, of people protesting in the way that they see fit. So yeah, all of this happening right now as we await to hear from the governor. You can see on the screen there, Governor Walz is expected to.
Okay, this is probably the best tweet so far. Donut operator. Donut says, getting shot in the face while trying to kill someone who is arresting people that are stealing from you is wild. That is so perfect. This is the most perfect description of the entire thing right here. Getting shot in the face while trying to kill someone who is arresting people that are stealing from you is wild. Oh, shit. That is fantastic right there. All right.
Here, we were talking just a moment ago about some of these groups locally. You might be watching this, or you might have
Trump posted?
friends or family who are interested in continuing to protest, but you may be concerned about things like safety. Clearly, there was loss of life here today. The Immigration Defense Network is a resource, and they're actually putting on some sessions.
Breaking, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz activates the State Emergency Operations Center. Okay. Don't know what that means. I got to see if I got True Social. Let's see. True Social. Okay, here we go. Trump just posted right here. Okay. I have just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willingly, and viciously ran over the ICE agent who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. The situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They are just trying to do the job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from this radical left movement of violence and hate. That's my president right there. That's my president. 100%. Perfectly said by President Trump. Perfectly said. That's what I voted for. That's what I voted for. You love to see it. Okay, so if you're tuning in, we are currently waiting for Tim Walz to take the podium here. I can't wait to hear his victim narrative that he's going to build out of this, because you know that's what he's going to do. He's absolutely going to do that. Not even close. Anjanette with a gifted membership. Thank you. Midnight Light with a gifted membership. Thank you. Appreciate that. Stifler's dad says, I think that guy was Jay. Mike says, is the ICE vehicle okay? Alexander says, the only true fascists in America are the Democrats. Raging Wolf says, they keep blowing the comeback and kick me whistle. Darth McBee says, someone online just said, we have a new George Floyd of 2026. George Floyd. You know, we'll see. It will be interesting what type of narrative they build around this this lady, whoever this lady is, whatever, you know, her story is. Tim Walz is probably trying to get as much information as he can so that he can build that victim narrative. Was there a clip attached to Trump's post? There was. I I didn't watch it. Let me go back and see. Yeah. It's the view that we've seen. It's that view right there. That's the one that Trump posted right there. So, all right. Graham Robinson says, which is worse, California or Minnesota? The answer is Washington. Andy Plays Game says, I'm originally from Minnesota. It used to be a cool place. Philip says that hotel is owned by someone from India, talking about the Hilton Hotel. Piano Dean says, even if she wasn't trying to run over anyone, she at the very least recklessly charged forward with an agent in her way is justified. Daniel Moore Business says, I'm back. Old card was robbed, but I got everything back. Jeremy Gay as shit. Hail the 199. Mod Lives Matter, Chat Lives Matter. Also Daniel Moore. There's Trump's statement right here. They're reading.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. He then went on to say, based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe that he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. The situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. So again, that is the response.
How angry do these Karens sound right now by having to read that?
Amy, go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, they're just trying to do the job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from this radical left movement of violence and hate. So again, that's from President Trump just a short time ago. It's the first time we're hearing from the president, although we did hear from the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, who was on the ground yesterday here in Minnesota. Not sure if she is still here or not.
No, I think she's in Texas now. I think she's because she took questions.
Okay.
Misery Fronte says, ICE are federal police. They have the same authority as cops when responding to lethal threats. This is literally no different than a police shooting. Daniel Moore says she leered a valuable lesson today. Cohort Connor says, good job, officer. This calls for a damn, maybe in a bit. DJ says, Coach Maduro would just steal the Super Bowl trophy in the 2026 preseason. We got Zwani for 20 says, keeping our head IDOT employed. Hail Unit 199. Mod Lives Matter. Chat Lives Matter. Thank you, Zwani. Appreciate you as always. Here we go. Oh, he's trying to look like he's tired. The fuck is he wearing?
Good afternoon. Today I'm joined by Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson, Colonel Schaefer of the Minnesota National Guard, and Colonel Bogojevic of the Minnesota State Patrol. This morning we learned that an ICE officer shot and killed someone in Minneapolis. My deepest condolences to the family, to the loved ones who had to learn about this tragic event on national television. We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life. I've reached out to Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, and I'm waiting to hear back. Let me be clear. Donald Trump and his administration may not care much about Minnesota. That's been pretty evident, but we love this state. We won't let them tear us apart. We'll not turn against each other. To Minnesotans, I say this, I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully as you always do. We can't give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you this, please stand with Minneapolis. To Minnesotans, know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Bob Jacobson of the Minnesota Department
Take some
of Public
questions, buddy. Take some questions, Tim Walz. You gonna take some questions? You too scared?
Thank you, Governor. As the governor mentioned, my name is Bob Jacobson. It is my honor to serve as the commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. First of all, I want to acknowledge the reason that we are all here. The loss of life is not anything anyone would ever want. We fully expect that the community will want to peacefully demonstrate their anger or frustration. Minnesota residents and visitors have the right to peacefully demonstrate. We recognize that demonstrations are often driven by strong emotions, beliefs, and certainly a desire to be heard. Our role is to help ensure everyone can express themselves without anyone getting hurt. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety's role through the Minnesota State Patrol is to ensure safety, protect constitutional rights, keep roads accessible, and above all, to prevent harm. Our top priority is public safety. Our focus is keeping demonstrators, community members, drivers, and law enforcement safe, especially during moments of heightened tension or uncertainty. Demonstrations must remain safe and lawful, particularly around roadways. We will join with our partners to support safety while respecting the right to protest. With that in mind, I'd like to share a few safe and lawful ways to demonstrate. Minnesotans can safely and legally express their views in many ways, including getting together peacefully with others in public spaces, marching or walking, not on roadways, making your voice heard through chants, speeches, and displaying signs, being present in public areas where pedestrians are allowed, gathering in designated or permitted areas, and these actions will allow people to express themselves while protecting the safety of everyone involved. Unsafe or illegal actions could result in fines or arrests. Certain behaviors create serious hazards that threaten public safety, disrupt emergency services, or put people at risk. These actions could result in fines or arrest. Demonstrating on or entering a freeway on foot, walking on highways, throwing objects, starting or setting fires, damaging property or graffiti, using illegal fireworks, displaying or using illegal weapons, reckless or dangerous driving, especially near pedestrians, and certainly.
It's like it's everything this guy is saying. He's essentially, he's not trying to say it, but he's admitting that she fucked up.
The assault of aggressive or riotous behavior toward anyone. We all want definitive answers to what happened today. Our Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is working in conjunction with the FBI to investigate this morning's shooting. As you know, we don't comment on active investigations, but also keep in mind that this is an investigation that is also in its infancy. So any speculation about what had happened would be just that. And we will not engage in speculation. With that, I will turn it back over to the governor.
All right, take questions, Tim.
We'd be glad to take any questions.
Let's go.
Yeah, and I could let let General Schaefer talk about this. It so happens it's a training weekend. We've got about 7,500 troops in training at our sites, training sites across the state. What it is, and in the National Guard, you give a warning order, which is a heads up of something could be coming. That just allows people to think about what they would need, what it would mean to mobilize, what it would mean to put them in. And I could let the general talk a little bit about this. Obviously, since the summer of 2020, we had a lot of work done on teams being ready to make sure that civil unrest, and what that means, and I think Commissioner Jacobson was very clear, and I want Minnesotans to hear this from me. The desire to get out and protest and to speak up to this administration of how wrong this is, that is a patriotic duty at this point in time, but it needs to be done safely. And I think the commissioner simply just laid out some of those parameters. We can do that. This is the peaceful resistance that we need. Simon, you want to say a few things about what that means to have them on the ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Governor. So for the military, Minnesota National Guard is comprised of 13,000 soldiers and airmen. We live all across and work throughout Minnesota. A warning order is just an initial step to increase your preparations. The Minnesota Guard is always prepared to respond and support state agencies and the citizens of Minnesota. So what that means for us today is just some additional checks on equipment that is ready at all times, and maybe some additional phone calls to service members who might be activated, but no activations. We are embedded with our state agencies here at the Operations Center to just continue parallel planning in the event that we are needed to support.
Thanks, General. And I would make note, Mary, and to Minnesotans on this about the National Guard, they're there to protect you and protect your constitutional rights. These are our neighbors. They don't wear masks. They don't bust in from somewhere else. They're not here to cause hassles to you, or what we saw today, the tragedy. Having them at the ready to make sure, because when we see these types of things happen, and we saw it after the murder of George Floyd, there's folks that want to cause chaos. There's the disruptors in it. And while the vast majority of those protests were peaceful expressions of their First Amendment rights, there were those that destroyed property and put people at risk. The National Guard is there to make sure that peaceful protests are able to be done, and that those that want to do the destruction are stopped from doing that. Yes.
What is your threshold for activating the National Guard? You're talking about large-scale demonstrations, but
Yeah.
the demonstrations after these ICE raids have been increasing in tension to the point where we saw one shot people today.
Yeah, and I think apparently by a federal agent, not by Minnesotans who were there to express their First Amendment rights. I think we've seen this to have folks ready. The gatherings that were down there today, I think this shocked everyone. People showed up as they should. There's people putting flowers down on a memorial. There's people expressing their anger. It's just as these situations develop, we decide when we need to move these people out. And I think the local reporters know well on this, both unfortunately and for us, the upside of this is that we're very good and we've had practice at this. And I just want to again implore Minnesotans, I am not telling you not to express your anger or your frustrations or the outrage that we have. Look, this was totally predictable, as I said it yesterday, and it was totally avoidable. And I just want to remind you, too, that local law enforcement, we get no coordination. They don't tell us they're coming. They don't say why they're sending the largest deployment in American history to Minneapolis. They're not making us any safer. We don't have any of that coordination. They should be talking to us when we do these things. Let us know we're going to be down here.
You don't deserve shit, Tim
We
Walz.
don't have that. So when you see local law enforcement or state patrol, or if it would take the National Guard, we're there responding to the chaos they've created too. But our role is to make sure that we're protecting Minnesotans so that something like this doesn't happen. I have not. The question was, have I spoken to the individual's family? No, we do not have a definitive ID on this individual. And I look, I'm going to note to all of you, I think it's really important, and the professionals do this, and they train me to do this. This is an open investigation. You need to be very careful about it. I know that many of you, myself included, have seen a very difficult video to watch, one where there's a family member watched their family member be shot and killed in front of them. It's beyond me that apparently from the federal government, from the Homeland Security Director herself, has already determined who this person was, what their motive was, and they hadn't even been taken out of the vehicle. We're not living in a normal world. And so, no, I have not. And I want to be very careful because I know how painful this is. I know how painful it is right now. I'm saying person and all that. This is a human being. This very well is an individual's child, a parent. And we don't know that yet. So no, I have not. But once we do, we will. So yes.
Did you have much in terms of, you mentioned adding to the state patrol? Could you say more about how many state patrol people are
Colonel, would you like to do that?
And then also,
Colonel?
So the governor was mentioning mobilizing more of the state patrol. How many state patrol people are on the ground in Minneapolis right now? And should there have been more state patrol people on the ground a couple of weeks ago when I was saying?
So the question was, how many state patrol troopers have been deployed to the city of Minneapolis? Right now, we don't talk typical numbers because that is considered security information. We do have a specialized team that does deal with crowd control. And so they have been deployed. But again, they are from all over the state of Minnesota. So they will come in tiers to the state.
Chat, always MVP. Always MVP.
No, it was in response to this event.
One more. Oh, sorry. Just to clarify the intention of deploying the National Guard, is there any chance that the National Guard will be against federal agents to protect Minnesotans?
I'm sorry. What was it?
Will the National Guard ever be deployed against federal agents to protect Minnesotans, given the context of what happened earlier today?
Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government. I think in this case that the National Guard is their main mission. They have a dual mission. There's the federal mission when they're under Title 10 orders, and then they're under Title 32 orders. In this warning order, there's nothing officially been done yet. If I am to activate them as the commander-in-chief of the Minnesota National Guard, I will issue the executive order to the Minnesota National Guard, and then they will be put in state duty status. And as you've seen over the last few years, that could be flood prevention. That could be after a wind blowing storm up in the north, up in Bemidji, or it could be COVID or George Floyd response. In this case, again, it doesn't necessarily change the mission. They're there to protect Minnesotans. They're there to serve Minnesotans. I think the thing that is so challenging in the moment we're in is we don't see a desire to work with us on public safety. We hear a demonization of our state. We see people coming in who don't know our community. And we see this.
Which one?
Massive
the one talking or the one doing sign language?
That we're trying to understand how is this coordinated. And some of you watch the videos on there, total chaos. And look, I have very limited work in this is the training in the National Guard, but I've had a lot of training now to watch how our professionals operate. After this person was shot, federal agents milling around, touching the vehicle at a crime scene and things. I don't know what to tell you. And I don't quite know how to respond to the question other than my primary responsibility as governor is the protection of the people of Minnesota. And you can be assured whether it's the state patrol or whether it's the National Guard, their deployment is there to protect Minnesotans from whatever it is. If it's an act of nature.
He did say that.
If it's a global pandemic.
He did say that, Gremlin.
In this case, if it is a rogue federal agent, I don't know at this time. And I want to be very careful. It's unprecedented that we have the federal government's already determined exactly what's happened here and the motives of an individual that we don't even know the name. They don't know the name. And that's very difficult. So, well, one more, Dana. Look, and I understand the uniqueness of this moment in this week, following this week, seeing what's happening in the backdrop of a show hearing in D.C. My job is to govern, and my job is to see what the facts are. This happened a couple of hours ago, and we're already pitting American against American. All of you saw a video in your eyes. We have a chaotic situation caused by the largest deployment in American history of federal agents into a community with no communication to locals. We had a chaotic situation where an individual is in their car, shot and killed. And so, look, I want to be very cautious here because Donald Trump will make this about me. He will make this about politics. This is about public safety, and this is about normalcy to America.
You're literally making it about him. You're bringing him into it. God, what an insufferable.
Who are watching this, if you're in Portland or you're in LA or you're in Chicago or you're wherever they're coming next, stand with us. Stand with us against this. This was so preventable, so unnecessary, and I don't know. I hope maybe we're at the McCarthy moment. Do you have no decency? Do you have no decency? We have someone dead in their car for no reason whatsoever, and
except for the whole reason of trying to, kill an ICE agent. That part you might have left out.
But I said if they do this, they're going to create a chaotic situation where someone innocent's going to get killed, and they did it. And now we hear more political rhetoric. Enough is enough. And so to Minnesotans, don't take the bait. Do not take the bait. Do not allow them to deploy federal troops into here. Do not allow them to invoke the Insurrection Act. Do not allow them to declare martial law. Do not allow them to lie about the security and the decency of this state. And let's let this investigation play itself out. Let's make sure we protect our neighbors. I encourage you to use your First Amendment rights and all of your constitutional rights, but do so in a peaceful manner. We'll gather back with you as soon as we gather more information that needs to be put out. But again, stay safe, Minnesotans, and we'll be back with you.
What an insufferable piece of garbage, man. Oh, it just physically hurts to listen to him just lie. And yeah, it did sound like, it did sound like he was making some threats. That's actually already been pointed out on social media as well. Right here. Where'd it go? Tim Walz issues a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard following the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. We know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary, which is what Gremlin, mentioned earlier. They want the chaos because they want another summer of love. They want another summer of love so that they can play the victim. That's exactly what this is all about. Like, that was him in the most indirect way calling for it.
Several, and just just wanted to make sure that everybody knew exactly how he felt. And we've since kind of seen that reel in just a little bit here with the tone of Governor Walz, which is a little bit more somber, a little bit more cautious, because there is an active investigation here. There's a lot of politics involved as well, as he pointed out. No party is immune from it. It comes from all sides. We have seen statements coming out of the Trump administration that are, telling sort of one very specific narrative, and then we have another side of it where things are still unclear.
And now, let's see. Blackhawks spotted overhead near Minneapolis as National Guard prepares for deployment. Things are getting very tense out here. That's from Nick Sortor. Business is picking up. Business is picking up. So there we have it. All right, let's see here. Magnum Norris says, don't let them take the bait to remove liars and thieves from your government. Magnum Norris, very pissed off. Used to be you said 34 years in Minnesota? Spent 34 years there, Magnum Norris? It's crazy. Samsung says, the irony of him asking, do you have no decency after the whole Charlie Kirk event? Exactly. Samsung says, all of the completely sane and rational people in Minneapolis are going to be pissed that he didn't tell them to make a big show or burn stuff down and act like ninjas because of this mess. Hail Samsung. Magnum North says the bald lady is extra entertaining though. And again, you didn't clarify which one. You had a bald lady talking, and then you had a bald lady doing sign language. So which one? Which one? Bubba Tank says, I didn't know Danny DeVito knew sign language. Lapco says, that was a professional move. Only a massage agent could have taken that lady out. Why haven't they released any footage from nearby rooftops? Tune into Candace tomorrow, just asking questions. Candace's podcast has been suffering lately. So Pins fan for life says Hector is signing about how he is gonna be running 3 Honda Civics and Spoon engines, T66 turbos with NOS and Motec system exhaust. All right, let's lean back for 20. Says Walls said he's waiting to hear back from Nome. That's BS. She take his call. He said they're not coordinating and should be talking with them. 30 seconds later, said he's at war with the federal government. Absolute retard. Arrest him. He truly is. I mean, Tim, I showed you the clip the other day of like Tim Walz is just a weird dude, man. Like a absolute fucking freak is what Tim Walz is. That is the incident right there. So let me back this up for those of you that have not seen it. This is the incident right here. Now they keep editing out the part where the officers approach the vehicle and tell her to get out after she's blocking traffic. They keep editing that out.
Oh, shame!
I don't know why they keep editing that part out. It makes no sense.
This video will make its way back around, and as we're waiting for that, some of the things that we don't know, some of the things that you can't see, and so we'll swing back around here and it moves toward the vehicle. That vehicle then, as you can see, into the snow, and that woman eventually, 37-year-old white woman, that's all we know at this point, deceased at the hospital. What we don't know is there was the ICE agent. These are now, the scene here was primarily, I believe, all ICE agents at this time. This was before people started really showing up. This was at some point. The woman in the vehicle who was shot, we understand, was not the target of this ICE investigation. We don't know who was or what the circumstances were. I'm just going to let this play for a moment.
I don't know why they're letting this just play. I have no idea what they're doing here.
So at this point, you're seeing people respond after those shots were fired and the woman inside of that maroon vehicle.
So again,
okay, we don't care about the NPR garbage that they're talking about right now. So I'm trying to find, there was one clip that I wanted to show you and I can't find it right now. Magnum North says, did this woman say that this comes from all sides? Yes, that is whenever you hear the Democrats say that that this is an all sides issue, that's them admitting that something bad happened, but they don't want to admit that something that bad happened on their side. So they try and build this narrative that it's something that both sides are responsible for. And we all know that's 100% bullshit. That's all, every time when there's something that they know that they can't completely spin or twist, they pull it's an issue on both sides. That 100% of the time that happens. And Magnum North says if they told him he would tip them off, and that was in response to Tim Walz saying that they don't communicate with him. And I agree with your statement. Pins fan says, Tim Walz, the federal government needs to tell us when they're coming so we can warn all of our illegals. Exactly. Magnum North says, why isn't this dude in handcuffs? And then Magnum North says, good timing for Tampon Tim. Yeah, it's just like anything else. Like whenever retail story time, whenever I worked retail, when the district manager would always tell us in advance what day he's coming. You know what would happen? when the district manager says, I'm going to be there on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Do you know what we would do as a store? We would bring everybody in the day before, get the store clean, make everything look good. And then he walks in there and he sees an incorrect version of what our store would look like on a daily basis because we were faking it because the boss man was coming in. You know what would happen when he would not announce? He sees a completely different store. Why, when we have it exposed with Nick Shirley, why, when we are seeing all of the fraud that's been going on in Minnesota, why would the Trump administration go, hey, Tim, hey, just want to let you know, man, we're going to be sending a bunch of ICE agents to town next week. You know, if you want to go ahead and clean things up, it's absolutely retarded. Magnum Norris says, Tampon Tim stole my money as a Minnesotan for decades. Somebody please arrest him. Hail Magnum Norris. Says, Tampon Tim is a carpetbagger who stole money from Minnesota people and he wants to be vindicated. Jeremy runs G&G like his retail store days. Pretty much. Williams says that Captain David Dorn got no coverage. That is true. Graham Robbins says, going to be a long night. I hope you ate your Wheaties. Ministry of All Things says, Tim called out Trump for reaching a conclusion before investigation, then literally said a woman was shot for no reason. Weasel. Jay says, Tim hands out bait. Tim, don't take the bait. Exactly.
A federal agent's vehicle that was trying to leave the scene. Now, this may not be it. And protesters were getting in front of the vehicle and just not allowing the vehicle to pass, which they're not allowed to do. And so there were some, that was one of the more tense moments where you just weren't really sure what was going to happen next. This, again, is some video from earlier of the vehicle when it was still there.
They are absolutely going to try to make this their new George Floyd. They're absolutely going to do it. Now, what's interesting, and I'm just looking at this, the fact that we already have the woman, we have her body, we have her vehicle. So assuming that we're going to have, ID, place of residence, all of that. The fact that they're claiming that they don't have an ID on her yet is fucking weird. That is a wild take for Tim Walz to sit up there and say, we don't have an ID on her yet. What? This happened like 4 or 5 hours ago, right? Like something is weird about that. Something is very, very strange about that. So maybe, and that kind of makes me wonder, like, maybe she doesn't fit the narrative that they need. So they want to clean some stuff up first. Maybe. Maybe to alert her next of kin. Yes, seems odd. No, I mean, in that sense, then they would have said, well, we know the ID of the woman, but we have not been able to communicate with her family entirely yet. So because of that, we are going to respect the wishes. That is the proper answer if they are trying to hold off for family, which I totally understand. But that's not what Tim Walz said. Tim Walz says, we don't have her ID'd yet. That is a wild answer. It makes no sense to me. So let's hear what they're saying right now.
We hear some of what was said earlier with Mayor Jacob Fry. He got very
he did not mince words.
Yeah, he did not hold anything back.
Yeah, tough guy Jacob Fry
today. And then we to follow up with that.
You know what? Sorry,
is this some of the video?
This is the video. Just wanted to point out. You can kind of see.
Is this live? Oh, this is earlier. This is earlier.
You know what? I can't tell you for sure. It looks like that.
So this is where things started to get a little dicey.
Law enforcement.
Yeah. Yep. Because I remember they were in this white vehicle, and this is a different perspective because it's an aerial view. So, but you could see some of the snowballs that were being thrown at them, and then some of the people that were trying to block their vehicle.
New meme born. New memes are being born right now. There it is. Libtards are absolutely melting down. You're supposed to let us run you over. Lol. No. That's pretty much where we are now. This is pretty much where we are. Good Lord.
Are likely going to protest, especially on something of this capacity, of this scale. She said that there's a growing protest right now at 38th in Chicago, and we all are very familiar.
Okay, we got a hot take. We got a hot take, and we've got to give this. We've got to listen. We got to hear this one out. Okay, we got a hot take. Hot take. The lady in Minnesota was trying to drive around the ICE agent, but she hit him with her car because she's a woman and bad at driving. I mean, that's not a bad take. That's not a bad take. All right? Not a bad take. I got to give you some credit for that one. I'm listening. I like this theory. This is a good theory right there. Dude, show Kyle Rittenhouse's tweet about this. Does Kyle Rittenhouse have a tweet? Okay, let's see. Kyle Rittenhouse. Is he still like, Kyle Rittenhouse is like disappeared. Let's see. Kyle Rittenhouse. All right, stop. All right, what does Kyle Rittenhouse have to say? Oh. So right here, somebody says, so this is ICE has deployed tear gas and pepper spray. Deploy Kyle Rittenhouse. I think I'll sit this one out, but this is what I voted for. That's a very, very good response right there. That's a very good response. I like it. I like it.
As you mentioned, Amy, we did see from our aerial view that a lot of people.
Based Rittenhouse. Yeah, didn't he disappear for a while? I hadn't seen him in a long time. So, we got, look at this. Look at this. Breaking news. President Trump will deliver a 2026 State of the Union on Tuesday, February 24th to Congress after being invited by Speaker Johnson. It's going to be absolutely legendary. So I will probably I'll be streaming over Tuesday night's main event that night. So February 24th here on this channel, book it. Book it. We're going to be covering that one. Here's Jacob Fry being a tough guy.
And that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment.
Let's back this up.
Collective information
of what the mayor had to say a few hours after the incident.
There's a lot of information that is swirling around right now, and we collectively are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE.
Now, this was hours ago. How do you know she's 37 if you haven't ID'd her yet? So this was 2 hours ago that Jacob Fry did this press conference. And you said that she's 37, and it's been widely reported that she's 37. If she's 37, but you claim you don't know who she is. Tim Walz just said they have not ID'd her. So if you haven't ID'd her, how do you know she's 37?
We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis. Not only is this a concern that we've had internally, we've been talking about it. They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of my what? This was an agent.
Was he just speaking Somali? What the hell was that?
Recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying. getting killed. As soon as it happened and we learned of the incident, we had several priorities. The first, of course, was to get the victim to the hospital and to get care as soon as possible. And to the family, I'm so deeply sorry. There's nothing that I can say right now that's going to make you or your relatives or the friends of the victim feel any better. There were, I believe, 2 Minneapolis police officers that responded and were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There were dozens, if not hundreds, of ICE and federal officers that were there at the time. Having them there was only causing more chaos. Having them there was only making a difficult situation even more problematic, and one that, yes, they created themselves. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have.
And about 2 hours ago, JD Vance called for Tim Walz to resign. That's just, just giving you updates on what's going on. But JD Vance has called for Tim Walz to resign.
I have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city.
I just want everybody to understand, this is a tough guy, Jacob Fry, okay? When he talks and uses tough words, you might want to pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, because Jacob Fry is a tough guy. Yes, that is Jacob Fry, the Jacob Fry that just told ICE to get the F out of Minneapolis. Yeah, he's a real tough guy. Ooh, yeah. Real tough guy right there. Man, I'm so scared of him. I'm so scared of him.
To our culture, to our economy, are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done. We're going to be working towards justice as quickly as we possibly can right now, and justice is what we've all got to get. Next, a message to our community. Look, we all know that the agenda of this Trump administration is to create chaos. Let us respond right now with our best versions of self. This is a moment where all of us in Minneapolis and beyond, we can rise to the occasion. We can show them who we are. We can show them the kind of courage, bravery, love, and compassion that makes Minneapolis, Minneapolis, and that makes America, America. We are better than a bunch of ICE agents being deployed to cities around the country and ripping apart families and communities. We're better than that.
Oh my gosh.
And so we are going to meet that hate with love. We are going to meet that despair with hope. We are going to meet that injustice with constitutional justice ourselves. And we're going to make sure that in this very difficult moment, we do not take the bait that these ICE agents are trying to create and that the federal government, to be clear, wants. They want us to respond in a way that creates a military occupation in our city. They want an excuse to come in and show the kind of force that will create more chaos and more despair.
If I can't listen to this anymore. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, but like I've already heard most of this, but like the grandstanding is out of control. And I know nobody else wants to hear this shit either, but let's see if he's almost done.
Let's not let them. Let's rise to this occasion. Let's show them something far more beautiful than the kind of division that they're trying to stoke. Let's show them unity of purpose, of love, and the courage of our conviction. Our conviction.
God, it physically hurts, dude. It physically hurts. But it's important for people to hear what this idiot has to say. It is important. And that's why I wanted everyone to check that out, because hearing how evil they are and all of the bullshit that they're spewing right now is very important. This is not going away. I do feel that this is what the Democrats are going to be congregating around. Now, again, the big thing is the narrative that they could build around the woman that was killed. That's going to be the important piece of the puzzle. And that's why I do wonder, why have we not heard her name? Why did Tim Walz say they have not ID'd her yet, but they knew her age? I don't understand that. He just rebutted. Newsmax is saying, what do you mean? Hang on. Let me see. Is Newsmax live right now? Hang on. Newsmax. Let's see. What is this right here? Okay. Yeah, they're I don't see them saying anything right now. 37-year-old white woman with no ID, apparently. That's what we're supposed to believe. That's the narrative that they're pushing. I don't see any updated information yet on that. We do have Ilhan Omar has for the first time ever, shockingly enough, Ilhan Omar has asked people to leave Minnesota, if you can believe it. Can you believe that? Ilhan Omar, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar issues statement on deadly ICE-involved shooting, calling ICE actions unconscionable and reprehensible.
That just came out from Representative Ilhan Omar, of course, who represents Minneapolis. Her district is in Minnesota. She says ICE's actions today were unconscionable and reprehensible. I am beyond outraged at their reckless, callous actions, reckless, callous actions led to the killing of a legal observer in Minneapolis. My heart breaks for the victim's family, who will have to forever live with the pain caused by the Trump, she writes. Your reaction?
The Trump administration?
Trump administration is right. She goes on to say reckless.
Yeah, I mean, total nonsense, outrageous conduct.
And she's also called for ICE to leave Minnesota. I mean, listen, baby steps. At least she's asking for people to leave Minnesota. All right, baby steps. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. So we'll see if it actually is going to happen. Gremlin says, damn, Jeremy, I didn't know you worked retail. Did you drive a forklift as well? That would be cool. But seriously, I can't wait for that Jen to get the phone call about good old Pete. You know what? I might have driven a forklift back in the day, too. I've said this, man. That's what me and Stone Cold Steve Austin have in common. Stone Cold Steve Austin said if he didn't make it as a wrestler, he'd be driving a forklift. And that's what I'd be doing if I didn't make it as a low quality YouTuber like I am. I would have been just driving a forklift. So I mean, I used to drive a forklift. It was fun as hell. Let's see. At says my concern is that ICE agent is going to be investigated by woke cops, a woke DA. When it goes to trial, it will be a woke jury. That is a concern. CG says if they were truly Yahtzees, they'd be stacking them up on the scene. Just saying. Legion says felonies, assault, obstruction. They can't vote. Lord Botha says she emotes better than Millie Bobby Brown. Captain JP says obnoxious sign language tax. Nagranal becomes a new member. Thank you. Magnum Norris says the MPLS woman is a liar. James says this is exactly what the Dems wanted. They've got their minions running dummy missions. You can't impede local, state, or federal law enforcement. Krista Joe says she wasn't just sitting in her car. She chose to use it to obstruct a federal job and endangered herself and the agents on the scene. She FO'd with her choices. Perfectly said. right there, Krista Joe. Good to see you. Perfectly said. Midnight Light says shots heard around the world began with snowballs. Piano Dean says the people calling this murder are the same people that said Ashley Babbitt deserved what she got. Slain Hope says the Indian grifters don't know how U.S. states work. Rye the guy says Jeremy don't cry for the sake of crying. He grifts for the sake of grifting. That's true. Cole Hauser says it's unfortunate, but ICE must use extreme prejudice. I mean, it is. I mean, listen, on the surface, I don't want anyone to lose their life. I don't want anyone harmed. I don't like seeing that in any capacity whatsoever, but this is the real world. And this is just, it's the sad reality of the consequences of your actions. I mean, it's really that simple. Longclaw says Christy Dome Southmouth tax. Terry says I guarantee the family will sue civilly. Heir to the Empire says Christy Nome cowgirl babe tax. My leaking colonoscopy bag says Southmouth chomping a-holes. Jefferson says newscaster doesn't know rocks fit in snowballs. Andrew Sarah says if you're here, you're someone to me, a gay. Midnight Light says the worst thing to happen to Walls is Kamala running. The South Mouth for $1. Midnight Light says, show the old and new Minnesota flag of Somali flag. Yeah, so Tim Walz replaced the Minnesota flag with the Somali flag. Vault 95 says, old Twitter would have deleted Trump's statement. I mean, old Twitter would have, Trump wouldn't even be on old Twitter. None of us would be. I wouldn't be on Twitter right now if Elon didn't buy it because my Twitter was suspended. Diane says photo of vehicle shows bullet hole in windshield. Yeah, we showed that a little bit earlier. Gene the Machine says if Tim Walz cared about Minnesota, why is he dropping out of the next race? Heartbreak Zero says how long will the leftoids take to learn that Trump is not the cause, but rather the consequence? I wonder if they'll ever grow a brain. Hail. Daniel Moore says TW will be locked with Milo in a room for penance. Ministry of Wrong Things says, to be honest and pragmatic, Trump shouldn't have given an opinion on the shooting. Such a heavily influenced voice could hurt a possible court case. I would agree in a perfect world, but we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world where the Democrats and the left control the narrative in so many ways. So Trump has to offset by countering with his heavily influenced voice. So I would disagree based on current circumstances. Trump absolutely should be commenting because of how the left treats it. Tim Walz is out there saying that it was not justified. Ilhan Omar's out there saying it wasn't justified. All of these crazy lunatic Democrats are out there saying that those are not justified actions. So Trump has to counter signal with that. Midnight Light says Minnesota is telling everyone how corrupt they are. John Wayne says all I have to ask is how many of these protesters cheered Charlie Kirk's assassination. Most, if not all of them. I have no sympathy for them. Slain Hope says she isn't even cold yet, and they are defying her. Fault 95 says Minnesota governor calling for riots and how to do them. Rye the guy says never let a crisis go to waste. This fell right in Tim's lap when he needed a convenient distraction. Red Walker says there won't be protesters for long, Timmy. She was white. Lefties don't care. No racial victim narrative to play. I mean, but if she turns out to be, I don't know, if she turns out to be a lesbian, a childless lesbian, they could build a narrative around that. They could basically say that ICE agents were attacking an LGBT, a member of the LGBT community for using her right to protest. You know what I mean? So they can absolutely pull that narrative. So the Oppression Olympics always has a victim narrative available. So, again, I'm not saying that that's what they'll do. I'm just saying that option is open to them. Cicero says the face of the ASL translator shows the emotional BS in the words Tim Walz is saying. My leaking bag says what he fails to realize is that people will only see a soldier in uniform and will not respect them. FAFO will come for him. Ministry of Wrong Things says, Jeremy, did you ever cover the insanity that was Chuck Schumer's January 6th memorial? He literally said JC was the biggest attack on democracy in 100 years. we were on Tuesday night's main event last night, so I didn't get the chance to do that. Yeah. Here, let's go back over to this feed right now. Southeastern Country says, Tim, quote, talk to us when we can alert illegals. Walls. And Jeanette says, thanks for last night at 5:54 now. Hail the 199. Tampon Tim really is one of God's special people. Hey, congratulations to you. That's awesome. Charlie says, episode 9 just revealed in Minnesota the Upside Down. Islands 97 says, oh, what is the thing with the hands? Cheesy Terry says, why is Timu Danny DeVito moving his hands? Magnum Norris says, Walls has no training other than Kami Fellatio. Asphalt Man says, the singer looks like she's going to break into a dance at any moment. Mod Eric says, Walls just declared war on the USA. Andrew CR says, ask the bald lady how to say South Mouth in sign language. DJ says, the blood is on Tim's hands. Get them out. Vlad says, so a woman was driving and got shot. Sounds right. Let's see. Is it the Barbarian? Let's see. Oh, the Barbarian 1990 says that. So the admin can't make quick conclusions, but Tampon Tim can definitely say she's innocent. Packy Proton says, Roseanne Gottfried sign language thing. Leanback says, I hope Tim uses this as an excuse to pull a Wolf of Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? I'm not leaving. I'm not effing leaving. Packy Proton says, is that lady... if that lady drove a forklift, would she have the skills to be alive now? Heir to the Empire says, Tim Walls, innocent equals domestic terrorist. Evil Black Cat says, they know exactly who she is. They just trying to scrub her social media, coach her friends, relatives, and find the cutest pics of her pre-college. That's what they always do, too, every single time. Dustin says, are they going to be able to riot over a dead white lady? Walls is mad it wasn't a non-white. I think they will. I still think they will because they need something. They would prefer it to be a person of color, but the fact that it's a woman, that's already the identity enough that they need, all right? Straight white male, they can't do anything with a straight white male, okay? They can't do anything with it. But a woman, they can build a victim narrative around a woman. They absolutely can. Slain Hope says, no ID until they scrub her social media. Midnight Light says, love you, Jeremy. Hail the 199. Munchie Ninja. Forest Beyond the Tree says, they don't have an ID because maybe she's an illegal. Taker says, withdraw Minnesota statehood already. At becomes a new member. Irish Whips and Arm Trap says, I support ICE tax. Enoch Maman says, the real question is, can anyone at the Somali Leering Center call a mean pick six? Southeastern Kaiju says, Jacob Fry, GTFO of Minnesota. Also Jacob Fry, love wins over hate. Mike Middleton says, no ID, paid agitator. Who's the Midget Now says, enable the Insurrection Act on Minnesota. Waffle Master on Rumble says, they know she's 37 because they counted the folds like a ring on tree. Let's see. Lag says, the half-shaven ballsack known as Tim Walls is simply engaging in a desperate attempt to salvage his rapidly sinking political career. Real Stream Hero says, if it's a they, them, it thing, sign language, wow, that's a mouthful. Having a stroke. Mod Eric says, Alyssa Milano is suing Elon Musk for $400 million. She claims because Twitter and Elon has exposed her as a crazy bitch, she has lost jobs. Is that true? She's trying to sue Elon for $400 million. That's hilarious. What is this guy saying?
Began to back up and then pull forward at maybe 2 miles an hour. And then someone started to shout, no, no. And then a moment later, 4 or 5 shots were fired into the vehicle. And at that point, I believe the person's foot hit the gas pedal pretty hard. And then it crashed into the nearest car on the opposite side of the street. And then after that, the surviving passenger got out of the car covered in blood. And a man...
Wait, he said there was a passenger in the vehicle?
On the street claimed to be a doctor and was shouting, I'm a physician, I'm a doctor, allow me to provide emergency medical care. The ICE agents who were there said, no, get back, get on the sidewalk. And while that was happening, a different agent was shouting, no pulse, no pulse. Within 2 minutes, emergency medical ambulances were here. They couldn't get in from the north side, so they got in from the east, parked around the corner, and I saw 2 ICE agents.
We got an ID. Renee Nicole Good. ID'd right there. ICE shooting victim. All right. So we have an ID. When to go back, though, this person claims that there was a passenger.
Presumably ICE agents, carry the body from the vehicle halfway down the block and around the corner to where the ambulance was, where the body was given CPR and then taken away.
All right, and as we've been hearing these witness accounts, again, we heard one just right before that too. We always just want to say that that is perspective of somebody who was there through their eyes, and there's a whole story here that will be told once law enforcement goes through the video, and you know there's a lot that we don't know at this point. Not to discount what anybody is saying, but we also just want to make sure that we're not saying anything as fact when we're sharing some of these accounts. We wanted to go through a couple of other things here. I know we want to talk a little bit about use of force. Did you want to do that now?
No, we don't care about you. Listen, we don't care about you guys talking about that. Exalted Patriarch says, I have tried sending a few messages here, and it seems that you poop censors really don't like YouTube lib women criticism. Hail the 199. At says, it's a good thing it's not summer. Otherwise, we might be in for another summer of love over this dumb bee. Lord Bolthus says, Trump plans to end institutional investors being able to buy single-family homes. Blackstone and BlackRock stock fell a combined 37 points today. But nothing ever happens, guys. I know Trump made that announcement earlier, but nothing ever happens. Bruce Campbell says that Danny DeVito does sign language. Andrew Sierra says, this is a South Mouth situation indeed. Antonia says, Fry and Walls want a riot to distract from their fraud. Walls will stroke the flames. Floyd 2.0 incoming. Magnum North says, as a Minnesota native, this man makes me want to vomit. Bob says, so she's saying if law enforcement wasn't trying to do their job, they wouldn't have gotten killed. Does he not hear himself? And he talks about decency. They don't care. Libs don't care. The witches, let's see, says the blood on this woman is in the hands of the left and no one else. There was, where was all this outrage during Obama? This mayor is a clown. Stephen Strange says, how do they know her age if they don't have an ID? Well, we have an ID now. I'm trying to see, because you know the internet's about to do its thing. The internet is about to do its thing. We're about to find out more on this information, or more on this woman very soon. I'm seeing if we have any updates right now, but we have an ID. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, as simple as this. As simple as this. She is ordered out of the car. She refuses. She backs up. She drives forward into the ICE agent. ICE agent pulls out gun only when she starts moving forward into his body. Self-defense, case closed. Case closed. This is not up for discussion. If someone is trying to argue with you about this not being self-defense, they are retarded and they don't deserve a conversation. Don't waste your time. Don't waste any time arguing with retarded people. It's not worth it. Big Who says, you can't tell me that the left and the Dems are not ecstatic that this happened. They will sacrifice their own for optics. They absolutely will. You are correct. Let's see. Representative Randy Fine demands the arrest of Minnesota Mayor Jacob Fry. Yeah, I put stuff like that into the same places I put, Ted Cruz getting up there and doing a passionate speech. Like, these politicians, like, getting up there and grandstanding and calling for things. That's great. But I think we, the people, are a little tired of politicians calling for things. We would actually like to see things done. And that's why, like, I used to get really excited years ago when Ted Cruz would get up there and give this passionate speech about all the things they're going to do. He was all passionate and fired up. And I'm like, hell yeah, Ted Cruz, let's go. And then nothing happens. And then like 2 months later, Ted Cruz is giving another passionate speech. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, Ted Cruz. Let's get him. Nothing happens. then 2 months later is doing another one. At that point, I'm like, I don't care what you have to say, Ted Cruz. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Let me see. What is this? Okay, we got that. So right now, I'm just trying to see if the internet's going to start doing its thing with trying to find more information out on, since we do have an ID on this person. But let's see. Two reasons we'll never have a George Floyd situation in Minnesota. The woman is white. It's winter and ain't nobody of color rioting for a white woman in 20 below weather. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny right there. So that's Andrew says, I DM'd you a photo of fork. Of fork? What do you mean a fork? TVZ TQ says, we have an expired Alabama forklift license. Let's see. I got that one. Ice 1, lesbian 0. Is that a rumor that she's a lesbian? I was just talking shit when I said that. Well, I mean, because I know what the left's capable of. But is there speculation that this is a lesbian? Try to see. Her wife is talking to the news. What news? What news?
A couple different layers to this. One thing I did want to mention as well is one of the things I thought was really interesting early on, especially as the tensions were starting to really bubble up and you just weren't sure.
Her wife, where is this coming from? Dude, there's no way that she's actually a lesbian with a wife. That would be hilarious. There's no way. They mentioned the wife at the hospital. Did they? Did I miss that part? All right, let's see here. Elon Musk calls for the prosecution of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. I like this one right here. Did you just shoot that lady? ICE. Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. All right, hang on.
We will do right by our residents.
All right, her name was...
Residents will continue to show up for immigrant neighbors.
All right, what was her name? Renee what? Renee what? Was it Renee something? Tell me in the chat. It was Renee Good? Renee Nicole Good. Okay. All right, let's see here. Oh, no. There's no way. Bro. All right, I don't know if this is true. But the woman who was taken out by ICE agents today has been identified as Renee Nicole Good. Her Instagram lists her pronouns and describes her as a mom, wife, and a writer from Colorado experiencing Minneapolis, Minnesota. Man, this is getting interesting. Okay. Hang on. Let's see here. Hold on. All right. So it looks like she's married to a dude. It does look like she's married to a dude. But hang on. The Instagram profile of a woman shot in Minneapolis after attempting to run over ICE officer Renee Nicole Good has been identified and includes her she, her pronouns and a pride flag. So we're finding more out. Okay. Let's see. So that's all I'm seeing right now. No blockbuster flag. I will say, and obviously RIP to her. I don't want to be too judgmental, but the fact that she does not have a Ukraine flag in her bio tells me that she truly doesn't care. You would think she would have a Ukraine flag in her bio. Let's see here. Not seeing anything else right now. But I mean, that picture, that does look like a husband. That does look like a husband, but so these are the only two images I'm seeing right now. So professional protester. All right, what is this? We got an update here.
Just continue to talk to people who witnessed this event and the before and the after. And so actually, let me, you've probably already seen this scene as it's developed since we last spoke, but you know, this is kind of turned into a vigil, a space where people are just, you know, honoring the woman who was shot here. They have,
Yeah, all these people are like, a lot of these people out here are lunatics anyway. So, yeah, she crossed state lines, guys. I was told crossing state lines when Kyle Rittenhouse did it. I was told crossing state lines was literally something Hitler would do. Remember when crossing state lines, when it was about Kyle Rittenhouse, was treated as literally Hitler behavior? I remember. Blair says, remember, eyewitnesses are often out of order or factually incorrect due to the brain focusing on the survival, not details in the moments of high stress. Colonel Flom says, trying to experience Minnesota by parking yourself in the middle of an ICE raid. Very strange behavior. Very strange behavior. Okay, we are at the 3-hour mark, so I'm probably going to cut it here, and then I'm going to do another stream tonight before the gaming stream. So I'll probably go live probably around 7 or 8 again, Eastern, 7 or 8 Eastern. I'll go live again. I'll get the link set up early. Bronsonite says probably employed by some leftist organization or maybe unemployed or on disability, leeching off the system. Why else would she not be working in the middle of the day harassing ICE? Is it Mario Kart again? It's Mario Kart 8, the return of Mario Kart 8 tonight. I have not played that game since Mario Kart World came out, so it's probably going to be a very bad stream. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So, but I really, and Bongino is live at 6 tonight, so I'll probably try to cover some of what he has to say as well. I'll be honest, Bongino's behavior yesterday on Twitter was cringe, going after Matt Gaetz and retweeting people like Mark Levin, calling people anti-Semitic. It was really cringe. So we'll see what happens, but it'll be interesting to talk about. But thank you guys so much, and thank you for the new subscribers. I did see we had several people subscribe. Look at that. We're up to, look at the new subscribers, man. Heck yeah, look at that. Thank you guys. I appreciate you keeping me above that 170 mark. And make sure you got notifications turned on to this channel. I do appreciate it. George says that Jeremy needs a break tax. Just a little bit. Get some food. Get ready for 2 more streams tonight, so it will be a lot of fun. You guys have a good evening. Don't forget to subscribe to Geeks and Gamers as well. I'm making more videos over there. So have a good evening, and I'll see you guys here in just a few hours. So talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.